You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I'm a generous man. If it was only me you failed, I might have given you another opportunity to redeem yourself. But it wasn't only me you let down, was it? You failed, my believers. When I rescued Promociones Dorado from bankruptcy and you from the gutter, I gave you access to the best luchadores on earth. All I asked in return was gold and violence. But that's all right. In fact, it couldn't be more perfect. I'm building a new temple, and you, of all people, should know that requires certain sacrifice. Sí, amigo. Yes, July the 10th, Philadelphia. I will see you there.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, Justin Outlaw Harvey. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. That guy over there, that's at Byron Fever. Catch it.
Jazz hands.
Did I
for
do
the
that
audio
right?
for the audio listeners?
At Byron. I wish I had one of those soundboard things. You need zany sound effects when people
I need zany sound effects
about you.
Can I tell you that a friend of mine started this podcast, and I don't mean to plug it, but I'm going to.
Right off the bat, when we have all this other stuff to talk about? Go ahead.
What other stuff?
I don't know. There's not really anything happening in wrestling this week. I don't know why anybody would tune into our show of all shows this week.
This show is called, I think, Your Necessary Delusion. By the way, shout out to my short film, Delusions of Morons. Go to Delusions.
Wait a minute. Are you plugging somebody else with a similar title just so that you can plug your movie?
No, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the soundboard that you worked on. You and Casey helped produce it, and we're going to do another thing soon. But that's all I'm going to announce. And you're going to have to just keep listening and watching every show of MMMshow for more details.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So there we go. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting more listeners of yours. But anyway, there's just a sound bite that they have the necessary delusion wording said sing-songy a bunch of different ways, and it's just like an NPR story cut into like every third sentence you hear someone go delusion.
That's the thing. Okay. Well, guys, you see where we're at. I'm letting Byron tell stories off the bat because Meatloaf and the professor both could not join us this week.
Yeah. Do you know why they're not here?
I'm assuming it's because it's Mother's Day weekend and they have mothers.
Well, they have mothers, but they don't like them. And their mothers, no, they love their mothers, but their mothers don't like them.
Oh.
Because they're horrible people. Oh, but they do love their mothers. But
I get that.
The mothers are also people of good judgment. They don't like Casey and me.
I got to see my stepmother. I got to go to have dinner with her.
That's awesome.
That was kind of cool. And my brother was there, and my dad was there, and I thought that you murdered them since we're a Lucha Underground podcast,
and Lucha Underground murders its own talent. I thought you murdered them because they made fun of your new name when you took off the LA part, and then Meef was like, "This is dreadful."
No, Meef doesn't like the full entire nickname, which is the Rock and Roll Outlaw. He thinks that's terrible, and it is, but it's supposed to be. It wasn't given to me to be a good nickname. You don't get the best nicknames do not come from good things.
I have about 20 nicknames from college you will never hear.
I got the nickname Outlaw because I was least likely to be thought of as an outlaw, and then I actually did some outlawish things in front of some people, and then they were just like, "Oh." Anyway, long story, but I'm never telling that story.
I don't want to hear that, but our nickname when I was on the road doing road shows was because
Fire Crotch.
No, not my specific nickname, but the surname that we would throw on people was Prison. So like if you're all drinking at a bar in some town and someone kind of goes little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, we're like, "Oh, Prison Steve came out last night."
Got it. So for you, they could just say Prison Fire Crotch came out last night.
No one called me that. And then this is where Casey would say the segment.
What do you mean no one called you that? I was on the road with you for like 10 months up in Tahoe. We called you that all the time.
Yeah,
just not to your face.
I block it out.
Sober.
This is where Casey saves a segment and brings up prison wallets.
Yes. Anyway, should we talk about the thing that people actually care about this week? The one thing that is probably making everyone want to listen to this show? Should we actually just give it to them and not like wait until the very end of the show to give people
I think
thoughts?
this is a good time to make people watch 3 commercials and an hour and 45 minutes of the show.
I think we should just give it to them. We should just give them our thoughts on the most important thing that happened for our world in wrestling this week, which is, of course, without further ado, Indy Hartwell has a belt.
I think that's long overdue. And you see an outpouring.
No, stop. Let's not even go any further with the joke. That's a joke. I mean, that's a joke.
Can I say that you had AEW do their Blood and Guts match, which has been teased for a while, promoted for a while, and also like taken from us for a long while. And the headline the next day was not AEW. I thought that was kind of remarkable.
Well,
what was it, Justin?
It was Candice LeRae finally has a belt,
which is great. It's also long over, perhaps more than Indy. It's long overdue.
That one actually is overdue, and congratulations to her. And I guess she had to have a partner to get that specific belt. So, and I don't dislike Indy by any stretch of the imagination, by the way. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm just going to get right to it. Let's talk about my DMs, because everybody in my DMs is like, "Oh my God, are you so surprised?" And the Dario came back and this, that, and the other thing. And I have a little secret. I have to make a confession, Byron.
What's your confession?
That you have to make a confession too, but
why?
It wasn't a surprise.
Okay.
It really wasn't a surprise. But you never are going to hear these things from us because this is not a dirt sheet. We don't I'm not here to break news for people. Right. I'm not here to give you inside dirt and whatnot, but we did happen to actually know that this little piece of thing was coming. We didn't know when it was coming, by the way. I had no inside information about the fact that it was coming at any specific time, but we did happen to actually know that this was happening because a certain someone called me to try to get a certain someone's phone number that ended up being a certain someone that was in a certain something. So that being said, I knew a certain something, but also don't blow up my DMs because I don't know a certain anything else about anything. And I have my theories and thoughts on what's coming, and I'm going to talk to you about them now. So our good friend Luis Fernandez Gil has returned to wrestling television as El Jefe.
El Jefe.
As El Jefe.
Can I tell you also, I think it's kind of funny that Daga is running as El Jefe as well. And I wonder if there's going to be brand confusion.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Judging by the timelines of when certain things happened, this story was well underway, and most of the Azteca Underground thing had aired or been recorded already before Mr. Cueto was even acquired by Dario was even acquired by MLW. I believe, and I want to believe that this was always their plan. That they just weren't down for far enough down the line to know that was it. And I think that they probably had some alternate ideas kicking around there. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's wrestling. I think that I think that this had to have been honestly what they wanted to. And look, Luis Fernandez Gil, he's an actor. He's a regular Hollywood actor. Like, you pay the guy to come play a part, and it's the best part that he's ever friggin' played. I mean, he's done insurance commercials and telenovelas and, a few movie roles. But I mean, the guy is not exactly getting, his door beat down with a whole bunch of leading man roles, though he should, because he's great.
Right.
Little on the thin side for a leading man, but he's great actor. And, his services were required to come back and reprise his best role of ever. And it clearly he agreed to doing that. And this segment was filmed not too terribly long ago as the big season finale. And I love the fact that they didn't send out screener tapes to the dirt sheets. Fuck them.
Yeah.
And the fact that it didn't even clue half of them into the fact that something big was coming.
Yeah.
Like that there was actually a reveal. And I don't know why people would doubt Conan or Court Bauer, honestly. I mean,
they all but said it was him and it was going to happen. And when it happens, it would be him.
I get it. Like, it worked. You weren't supposed to believe that it could actually be him.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, for a million reasons, you're a wrestling fan. You're trained to believe the swerve is coming.
Well, you're supposed, yeah, but also like fake Diesel, fake Razor is not an outlandish thing.
No.
Like, it's part of wrestling. Guess what? There's a new sexy star in Mexico now.
And had they not been able to get Luis, again, they were taping this whole angle already.
Yeah.
This was already going this direction. They had already said the El Jefe Promotions Dorados thing before they acquired him. So it really could have been that level of swerve. It could have been someone else. Maybe, maybe they would have gotten Famous B or something, or, maybe they could have brought Katrina, because Katrina, she ran the temple for a little while.
Yeah.
We're rewatching season 2 right now. So, it could have been something like that. Anybody else? It could have been Papa Cueto, but I guess you would still need Luis for that.
do you pay? Is his rate lower for that character?
It can be. I didn't say that.
But also like,
hold on.
They could have. Yeah, this is where Casey saves the segment for a 15-minute impersonation. But they also, I think, the most fail-safe option they had in case things didn't work out. And again, like, we know, if you want an actor, you pay them the day rate and they'll show up and work. But wrestling people may not necessarily be too familiar with that, which is why it was a little bit difficult for them to get someone who was looking for work to work. But I think,
and I'm going to assume they shot this in LA in an afternoon, paid him his rate, and I'm sure that they will get him some more. I don't know if it'll be like the past where you see him at ringside, like, the Lucha Underground episodes we're watching now is when Luis started coming ringside, and we'll talk about that a little later too, because also this week, it just so happens that our Lucha Underground Rewind episode is season 2, episode 10, El Jefe is back, which is the big Dario Cueto coming back to the temple episode. I thought that was absolutely the most bizarre coincidence of all time. We did not plan that.
So if you're an MMM show, if you're part of Emanon, if you're an MMM truther, I think it's definitely valid to look at the lineup of how we're doing this specific El Jefe is back episode, the week El Jefe is back. And so like, if you want to post on message boards, your MMM truther message boards that we're running the whole Lucha Underground comeback, I'm going to deny it, but I do think there's a little validity to some of the thoughts and free thinking about it.
Who is M? Who is Bauer?
Whoa.
Where is Philadelphia?
If you take Philadelphia and you turn it into numbers, and then you add them together, it equals 75. 3 M's. You turn 75 back into numbers, and it's 3 M's.
It's whatever. There's going to be some 4chan thread about this whole thing now,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I think it was great, but I think to finish my thought, Selena De La Renta, I thought was the fail-safe because of how much of a staple she is to incapable at MLW.
But they've let her go now.
It seems
Does
like they
that
let her
seem
go.
surprising to you?
I mean, I'm not going to believe it until I see her wearing a Performance Center t-shirt. I think that's the only reason for her to leave. I think this is great stuff, and I think she deserves to be part of it.
I could think of some other reasons, like she anchored the promotion throughout the whole year, storyline wise, and then asked for more money because she felt like she was. I don't know this to be a fact, by the way. I'm just saying that these are the kind of things that happen in wrestling. Like she became more valuable, and maybe she asked for more value out of that, and that wasn't part of the plan. I don't know.
That makes sense, but they touted her as the first.
Or maybe it's a work.
The Tina exec producer of a wrestling show. Like Court has talked about how he has this specific vision for her as a business person on screen and gets her involved behind the screen. I just think that
so I'd like to. I agree. I agree with you. I'd like to think that if she's leaving, it's because there is a greener pastures opportunity out there for her, and that the end of the season was just good timing for all of them because they actually are, declaring this as the end of the season. So the next time you'll see MLW, it'll be up on Vice, I guess, is the deal. I don't know if their other deals are all completely up, but this July 10th show, I imagine, will be a taping for what is to become the new MLW. Now, the real question is, and there have been rumors floating around, it's been widely reported that MLW was looking at 2 TV deals. So now the question becomes, is a second TV deal going to be for Azteca Underground or Lucha Underground Dos or whatever the heck it's going to be called? Are they actually going to secure a second television show for, what they have? But I mean, my question too is, and I don't doubt that Conan especially could rustle up some luchadors to be in said promotion, but like who's even available from the original Lucha Underground that they could still get? I mean, I'm sure maybe they could borrow some people, but they'd be borrowed, right?
I mean, I don't know. I think AEW borrows half of their roster because of COVID, and they're never going to let them go, to be honest with you. Like if they have an opportunity to hire them, unless the person doesn't actually want to work at AEW, they're not going to let go of the people. Like whatever. So, but it's also funny.
But wouldn't it be smart? I mean, like, look,
Marty
this whole Forbidden Door thing that's going on with Impact and AEW and New Japan and whatnot. If MLW is going to become a bigger player, whether it be with Azteca Underground or MLW on Vice,
right?
I think especially with a Lucha Underground reboot, lending talent to that because of the hype it's going to get, especially in the first year, is not going to hurt one of those other promotions.
I mean, there's definitely a thing that can be done. MJF was someone who was still employed by MLW.
Right.
And AEW leased him out. But he's
MJF, by the way, in MLW was a fucking star. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff, but I mean, there's a reason why that guy's gone to the top of the card at AEW, because like the shit he was doing in MLW just showed.
Yeah.
He had the goods.
He's like 22 years old and doing all this great stuff. He's great. I don't think he has a driver's license, and
he does look pretty young.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I could see it. I think it'd be kind of cool if like the Lucha Brothers could go over and do something.
Oh, I think they'll show up at some point. I just don't think you're going to get like, some season-long Pentagon run.
Yeah.
Like, if one thing Conan has shown, it's that he can convince Ray and Penta to show up just about anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see in the review tonight, the Lucha review. You put Ray Jr. on your show and you just need to have someone say he's the best luchador in the world. And then he's ready to fight.
And that's it.
He's like, I'll go to work for you.
I mean,
voice. But I think that it's just, I think it's MLW does that stuff. They have Leo Rush, doing stuff, but he's also everywhere else. But I don't know
that's
how.
why they took the belt off of him, by the way, in their season finale when they're going away. Like, very wise choice to put it on the homegrown guy, Myron Reed. Yeah.
I don't like his chest protector, one, because he's working a babyface gimmick. And
Myron Reed?
Yeah, it seems
he was
like the
in a
underdog.
promotion like MLW, which I harken back to some of the ECW days. The baby faces are the thugs in chest protectors and weird
it doesn't
stuff.
even fit him.
Oh my God.
Is he? Did he?
My problem with Myron Reed is the rest of his entourage. Like, dude, like y'all look so ragtag sometimes, man. Can y'all like look threatening or menacing for? That's
what I'm saying. If it was,
I like Myron though. I think he's good. I think it's good.
If there was a budget to what he was doing, they'd get him a chest protector that fit him. You know?
Did you watch the Leo Rush rematch with Myron?
I watched.
It's a good match.
Yeah, it's good. He's good. Great. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's trickier though, bringing those types of people in who aren't under exclusive contracts or committed contracts to a TV show storyline. So that's like you bring Penta in, you have to really commit like Lucha Underground did. You have to commit to like a 4-episode arc.
Right, but think about who Pentagon was at the time. Pentagon was this mid-card guy and like a low mid-card guy. Let's not beat around the bush. Pentagon was not climbing the ladder at AAA.
But I'm saying now, like I think it's trickier to take someone like that away from Tony.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is you don't take him away. You just have him show up. You have him do a couple of spots.
I have a question,
have a couple of matches, and then you send him back. But you don't make him you don't hinge your storylines on. I don't think you hinge your storylines on any former Lucha Underground talent that's not available 100%.
You do something that is in its own sort of closed bubble. So like, let's say you have them signed for 4 episodes, which could be stretched over 8 weeks and have a big money match, maybe throw a belt on and take it off during that time.
So what are you going to do go ahead.
But here's my thing about that. Let's say you're Tony, and Tony's just out of his mind. You watch his commercials on Impact. He's out of his mind with a Forbidden Door doing whatever he wants to do. I think, and he's a money mark in the best sense of the term. I declared him that on my own. My own observations. No one else said that before me, and I'm not copying it. I could see him saying, "Oh, I think I would love to see him in this Lucha Underground format again. That'd be great." But then someone else is going to get in his ear and say something that's spurred on by the thought that Penta doesn't win big matches in AEW, and if he goes back to the format that made him the biggest wrestler in the world, then he's going to have to beat.
Yeah, they're going to spot squash him.
Yeah, when he comes back, and like, you don't want this guy to come back and take your spot.
Right. What you're saying is the Young Bucks are going to spot squash him in another promotion.
Well, listen, they're good friends with Kenny.
Call it what it is. They're going to get in Tony's ear and they're going to say, dude, you can't big up that dude down the road because then he's going to come back up the street and fuck us all up. I get it. You're right.
We literally saw it in AAA where Penta and Phoenix separately went up to AAA and said, not even when the contract's over, just mid-contract, I don't feel like it anymore. Next time we do business, it'll be 100% on my terms. And they actually changed their whole business model to where, this
is the problem with making stars. Yeah. You make a star, guess what? They want to get paid and treated like a star. And then if you don't pay and treat them like a star and you still think they're your up-and-coming talent, you're effed. Because eventually they're going to take their, like, look, Ray Phoenix especially, he took his chances. When he bailed on Dorian the first time, that was a bold, scary move for a young man at that specific phase of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine you're going to see anybody doing that to jump back to an MLW version of Lucha Underground. There's either going to be some contracts in place and some money, or some people who have some goodwill, like Tony just being a fan. And he was a fan of the original product. And I know that, he's friendly, at least with Conan, and I don't know if he knows Court or not, but I could see him not bearing them any ill will and wanting to see the product survive. And honestly, and I've said this before on the show, this is my true feeling about this Azteca Underground thing, about seeing Dario again, that guys, this is not about bringing back the old Lucha Underground. If I thought that it was that, I would be, as a Lucha Underground super fan, I would be offended. I would flat out be offended, but I'm not offended by this because I still think, and this will be my contention till the end of the day, that the very worst thing that could happen from any type of Lucha Underground reboot is that Conan is going to find another great reason to bring up some talent that you don't get to see very often, and give you more of them on American television, or give you more of them here in the States or at shows you can actually go to, get to see some things that are happening that you wouldn't see otherwise. He's had his finger on the pulse of that up and coming talent for years.
Mm-hmm.
He's made a ton of people, and we've said before, and he's not even like some, maniacal guy in the background, but he's pulling a lot of strings just because he's got a lot of good ideas and he shares his wealth. He'll go anywhere and he'll go to Impact and he'll be like, hey, why don't you guys do this? Why don't you guys do this? Why don't you guys use this person? Have you ever thought about this? Oh, here's how that storyline could play out. Like, he just offers what he has to offer, and it's good.
Yeah.
And people like it. And then it doesn't necessarily last very long. Like, who knows how long this will last? I mean, maybe it's 2 months, maybe it's 3, maybe it's just a little offshoot to give MLW a boost as they go on to Vice, but I'm excited about it. I mean, and look, and Byron and I, we bought our tickets for the July 10th MLW event a while back because we knew that there was going to be some things. I fully expect, and no, I will not tell you, even if I did know what to expect, but I fully expect that there will be a Lucha Underground presence of some type at that MLW event. I don't know if they'll
said in a clip. Do you want to talk about the scene that aired?
Yeah, let's talk about the actual scene. Let's critique this friggin' thing.
Okay, so for me personally, I have a laundry list, but I think of the.
Let me tell you. Well, let me just start off with the best, the truest, and most awesome thing about the scene. Now, when I thought that this scene was going to end up just being a reveal of Dario, first of all. I did not think we would get this amount of dialogue from Luis. I thought that they would do a less is more thing. I thought it would be a brief cameo, and but clearly they were paying him his full day rate, so they got a full day work out of him. And the thing that I felt was amazing and awesome that I was worried we would not see, that I think honestly is the most unifying factor, besides the fact that it was actually Luis being Dario, was the Red Bull was there and on the table. That was good. Had the Bull not been there, I think we'd have some serious problems here.
That was a great attention to detail, and that's also
I don't even know if that was attention to detail. I think that was just the whole one, like, how can we really make people feel like this is a legit Lucha Underground moment here?
Yeah. Well,
and if you don't put the Bull in that scene, you're fucked.
It's a great. I think also subliminally, that's a great show of faith, or great. It's like you could put an actor in a black suit on the camera, but like that Bull is as much a part of Lucha Underground.
Let me correct you, Byron. You can put an actor in his own black suit.
In his own black suit.
I don't believe that there was a wardrobe department on that particular article. It fit him well. Like, I'm sure Luis has some nice suits, but
I'm sure he has great suits. He looks handsome in all of his social media
almost
posts.
Positive that was his suit.
Yeah, isn't that what Lucha ended up doing too?
I don't think so. Didn't we see his suits hanging in wardrobe in the back?
Oh, maybe. Maybe they got them made at some point.
At some point, I think it might have been initially, and then
I mean, it's not an uncommon thing. Mr. Robot had Elliot, whatever.
Well, I think part of Cross's outfit was. I think part of Cross's White Rabbit thing was actually his vest or something, or part of it.
He just showed up to work one day dressed like that. That's his travel.
No,
wardrobe.
I think they were talking to him about ideas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he came down to do vignettes and a bunch of things before they ever used him. God, they didn't use him until the end of the friggin' season. Oh,
what a shame! What a shame!
Yeah, considering he was signed at the end of season 2.
and there's just so much that you could do with the Rabbit Tribe.
Anyway,
so
let's talk about this scene, because now that we're talking about things, it's like I'm starting to get this like, oh my God, what if Azteca Underground is like, Big Bad Steve and Joey Ryan and Ivelisse?
Joey Ryan. Well, would Court hire Joey Ryan?
That's the joke. Would he hire Big Bad Steve or Evilise either?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you got to think.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the only people that aren't signed somewhere, like, yeah, I'll bring in Famous B.
I think Evilise has been on good behavior in the past week or so, and I think it's helping. I think by the time they start hiring widely for this, I think she's
Byron, we need to get a
candidate.
sign. We need to get a sign in the background, like one of those workplace signs that says, "It has been 24 days since the last incident took place on the line." Except it'll be for Evilise.
Since Evilise unwittingly tried to end her career with
again.
Just a tweet with a tweet. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think Big Bag Steve would be a good hire just because if you're going to have a show with luchadors.
No, there's guys out there that are available. Like, look, I think Loco and Cholo.
Oh, got to get them, please.
And London. I think you bring back the Rabbit Tribe. I
want Cholo. Loco needs to lose some of that COVID weight though to get TV ready. But those guys should absolutely be on a TV show.
Did you say Loco?
Loco, Mariachi Loco.
Oh my god!
He has that little belly. That's why he has the tights with the shoulder straps.
You're talking about the man's gut already like that?
What do you mean? Is that bad?
Fried chicken goes good with quarantines, man. Leave that dude alone.
No, he rules.
Just playing with you.
Oh, he rules. That's what I'm teasing.
So, yeah, I'm just saying I think there are a few people out there that are available. I mean, I'd love to see Aerostar and Drago.
Yeah, you want your AAA favorites.
I'd love to see,
Vikingo.
If you're talking about the new people, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Laredo.
Grab Laredo, grab Taurus off of Impact. Sorry, Impact. Impact is doing really well. Enjoyed the last big show, but get Taurus on the new Lucha Underground if there is.
I mean, I'm sure Conan is probably the one that helped him get into Impact in the first place, and I'm sure if Conan has his druthers, he would just be in both places. I don't feel like Conan is the kind of guy that wants to pull somebody from one thing to do his thing. Right. He would rather see them in many things and work around it.
And to that point, I think someone once told me that you can write yourself out of anything. Like with when this person's really old and mentioned it when Star Wars got rebooted like 15 years ago. We're like, oh, how do we redo Star Wars without disappointing a bunch of people? Well, let's just do like a wormhole thing and have an alternate Star Wars universe, so that way no one can call BS on anything we do. Yeah. So
J.J. Abrams, they handed him the entire Star Trek Bible when he was
Star Trek.
Write the Star Trek thing, and he was just like, I won't be needing that. And they were like, no, you need that because there's all this history of he was like, okay, so no, well, here's what I need the timeline up to here, and then I'm just going to reset it right here at the beginning of Kirk's life, and then everything that happens now is my timeline, so you can go build a whole new Star Trek universe. Now go away with your big giant volumes of canon that you think I need to follow that I refuse to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like,
that's why JJ's dope.
You can write your way out of anything. I think if this is a character and storyline centric show with good dedicated writing, you can make anything happen. You can have Taurus and whoever he's feuding with in Impact do their own side feud.
The storyline, like, they have one tricky thing to figure out. They have to explain the reset of the universe. Look, they were given a gift by the end of season 4 that Dario was resurrected. So they can go from there.
Could you imagine?
I mean,
like that should be an episode 1, season 5 thing.
But they don't even necessarily have to acknowledge anything else other than, like, if you really just wanted to roll right into it, you just be like, yeah, Dario was magically resurrected by the Aerostar Time Stone or something, and he's run off to start his own new promotion.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's going into his own world of recreating the temple to please the Aztec gods, and you don't ever have to mention Papa Cueto or the old temple again. You really could just be that simple. I don't know if you go that simple, because then when other people start showing up, you might need to explain some things if you get any of them. But I mean, you've already got Mil Muertes.
So what did you think of the clip though? Like how it was. What was
I love Luis and I love the Bull.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay.
I think
so. First of all, what are we gimbal shooting this thing? Is that what we're doing?
Oh God. Right?
Was that turn move on a gimbal?
Where
like
it's
a phone gimbal?
He sits up or whatever, and someone just does a little button on the
button
handle,
click on a gimbal.
Yeah, but that's what AEW did for the first month or so of their show. They had marks running around with the gimbals until they had a TV crew.
But that was also not supposed to be trying to mimic.
It was bad, and you didn't need to one shot the whole thing. It'd be better if it wasn't. That's why I think the whole thing was kind of done in a half day, and Luis had about 2 hours on set.
Well, I mean, I think we're clearly assuming that Skip Chasen did not have anything to do with this particular vignette.
There's no way he would shoot in a corner of IKEA with one light bulb.
Wow, the corner of IKEA.
That's what it looked like. No, I mean, first of all, they delivered on the two things they needed to deliver on, which is great. So it's an A+ success. 1, Dario. 2,
correct.
Dario will be there July 10th in Philly.
Correct.
That's all you need.
Look, I'm here now, and you'll see me at least one more time at this big event. Pop an audience. If you're going to have a stunt and you're going to do a thing, or you're going to kick off a whole new real thing, this was absolutely the way to do it. A+ for the design of the overall impact to the wrestling business and what they were going for.
Now the Dario reveal where he's in a poorly lit room and then goes to being in a semi poorly lit room was not a great reveal.
Here's what I didn't understand. I didn't understand why there was so much stuff on the walls. If that was just what was in the office that they were using as a set already, if those things were there to be teasers or spoilers to other stuff, or what was up on the walls, I don't know.
Lucha Blog looked at it and turned up the brightness and saw that it's a bunch of pages out of some magazine, Lucha Libre magazine, that they just tore out and put on the wall. And there's too much wall space. That's what happens when you have a wide angle lens. Too much background. It's
well, okay, so stylistically, it left a bit to be desired. Now, does that give you fears of what an Azteca Underground would be as a show? I mean, you look at the MLW product, and it's shot a certain way. It feels like old school ECW, where Paulie was shooting half of it in the basement or over at Dreamer's house or whatever they were doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They were using camcorders and sticks and cutting a promo on a curtain.
That's all great wrestling stuff. I don't know. I think you need to give this the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I think moving forward, it should have those segments should be good little mini movies, and its storytelling should be good, or else it's just another thing. All that stuff's going to tie together and make you care about these unnamed masked wrestlers who are coming up from a place they weren't watching, and now you're seeing all of them on American TV market, and this whole audience is going to get wowed by them, just like they did when Lucha Underground came along. Maybe. We didn't know who anyone was, and then they showed us how special everyone was.
But so they also spent $425,000 an episode.
Yeah, but
that's more than anything that's in that ratings bracket gets spent on a show. You don't spend that amount of money on 1 hour of television on a boutique vanity network.
Yeah,
and they did, and that's part of why you got that whole thing. Part of what ended Lucha Underground was part of what made it great, which was that budget. But you're never going to have that with an MLW version of Lucha Underground. You're never going to have that kind of budget.
Part of it was that, and part of it was those are just resources available to a great mind doing great creative decision making, and also horror films are a perfect example of you don't need money to do a product that is solid.
I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is that if one product is, the Avengers Endgame, right, and then you're trying to make Avengers Endgame on, a shoestring PBS budget or something all of a sudden and continue it, there has to be a certain level of expectation that it's not going to look like Avengers Endgame when it comes down the line to, a weekly small budget.
Yeah, no, I feel that, but I think you look at.
I mean, they're
stuff like-
spending WWE level money to make a 1-hour Lucha Underground episode.
Yeah, and you look at their vignettes, especially a lot of the ones from this week's episode that we looked at. There's a lot of legit stunt work. There's the scenes are great. They're great fight scenes. They're not
There
even
was an
wrestling
actual
scenes.
stunt team. There was a
Lots.
Hollywood stunt team.
And and like that's something you can't do on the MLW budget. But
No, you're
Okay.
not going to have a full second unit with a full grip truck, a stunt team, a set medic. I mean, the things that people don't understand that Lucha Underground did that even WWE does not do when they're shooting a vignette.
yeah,
When WWE shoots a vignette, it's a few PAs and a camera crew with like, 2 cameras, a producer and an audio guy and some PAs. Like they're not even Lucha Underground, Skip Chasen shows up. He's got an AD, a DP, another camera guy, a stunt coordinator, a second AD, it's a full like movie crew.
yeah. But so you write around that. You write to your strengths, and also you don't write those types of scenes or stunts or moments, right?
I think strengths are there. Like, look, Selena did half of this Azteca Underground thing sitting next to her pool at her house. Like, and the storyline still played.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know. People's expectations are just going to have to be in the right place. Like if you love Dario, you love the concept, and you want to see some of these young up and coming Lucha Libre guys, like the same things that we got out of Lucha Underground that we love, then this might be your thing. If you're looking for a reboot of the old Lucha Underground, stop looking. The original Lucha Underground is dead. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to remake the old Lucha Underground. It is, in fact, dead. That doesn't mean that there can't be a new version of a Lucha Underground or Lucha Underground-esque product. But if your expectations are for it to be what it was before, stop. Just don't even bother, because it won't be. It's just going to let you down. There's no way for it to live up to that, because that was a singularity in time with Burnett and Lucha Libre FMV and Fogelman and all those dicks and Dorian and Skip coming in and Evie Dub and Joseph, and then you got Vampiro and Conan and Chavo and all this talent coming up. Like that doesn't exist right now. First of all, there's not even enough talent available to have the kind of pool that Lucha Underground had when they had it. When Lucha Underground had that pool, you got to remember Dixie was losing a grasp on TNA at the time.
Oh yeah.
Ring of Honor was kind of slumping, but they were tied up with New Japan stuff. So they had their own little thing going, and they weren't bringing in a ton of talent at the time. They had kind of their stable, and those guys were there, and Mexico, none of those guys were stars up here yet. Like, who did you know from Mexico at the time? Psycho Clown? Ugh. I knew some about the Tejano feud. We knew ADR was out and about and a free agent, but I mean, it was like, and Ray wasn't even in the WWE at the time. Like, you couldn't have these things converge like they did for Lucha Underground, especially right now.
Few years
where you've got Impact, Ring of Honor, AEW, MLW, New Japan, AAA, CMLL. Like, you've got all these fucking promotions right now, and everybody is working. Like, if you are a good wrestler right now and you can't get work, you're not a good wrestler.
Work on TV or some sort of distributed show.
Yeah. I mean, like, even MLW, like, bro, get on a show.
Yeah.
Like, go impress one of these guys and get on a show. If you're a solid wrestler and you've got 3 or 4 years under your belt, you can probably get on TV somewhere right now. Somewhere. I don't know. Look, I want to know what Casey has.
Oh, you froze. Oh, no, you froze.
Sorry, I'm glitching.
I do want to say one more thing about how it looked, just because.
Yeah, go for it.
Because so also the whole thing looked sepia tone.
Yes.
And I believe the look should be like a film cross processed look. I wrote this down, and I think it sounds smart, which is why I want to get it out. So I feel like the look should be like
you are such a mark for yourself. Go
more.
for it.
Yeah. Well, come on.
I know it's fine.
Rule number
if
1.
you're not getting over, you're just getting by.
Yes. So, I just it's not sepia. It's not whatever it was. It's more like a cross processing type look where you're going to have a lot more yellow golds popping through, like blasting through those types of visuals. And like if you watch the episode we watched today, in the Dario's office, all the windows are blasting gold, yellow in. Dario is not in a shadow. His face is brightly lit because the show is driven by gold, by the Aztec Lucha history, the medallions, the tribes, everything is Aztec gold. So there you go.
Right. There's themology in the cinematic part of the storytelling as well.
This
but that's
one
also
was,
when you have a director like Skip who's in that conversation and creating that thing, you get that. They were missing some of that, but obviously this is something they did on the DL to get the story into the show.
No, that's why I say give it a shot.
See.
Give the actual product a shot. But
I don't expect this to be Dario's official office. In fact, if he's going to Philly on the 10th, maybe his office will be Heyman's old basement. Wouldn't that be cute?
Oh, that'd be great if it was. What are the two cheesesteak places in Philly?
I'm not saving you on this one. I'm going to wait until you figure it out.
I can Google it, but I don't remember. But it'd be great if he was like centered around there. And so like you have the helicopter B-roll shot going up to them, and then he has this office right above in the middle. And maybe Dario would gain like 75 pounds because all he ate was cheesesteaks.
I'm not actually frozen, by the way. I was just pretending to be. Look, anyway, I want to hear what Casey has to say. Let's roll in that thing from Casey and see what Casey thinks about this entire new return of Dario thing. And then after that, I'm sure Denise Salcedo over in Lucha Central will have something that she wants to tell us about.
Hey, yo, it's your boy, the motherfucking Lucha Gringo. Just wanted to talk to you really quick about this Azteca Underground stuff. First of all, when we tell you to watch something, maybe you should pay attention when we do things like that. You might end up missing something cool. For the most part, I liked this. You know, we got to see Dario again. Always a welcome sight. He's a very handsome man. We also got to see a pretty reasonable facsimile of The Office. They had a bowl. Wasn't paper mache. It was some kind of ceramic, but you do what you got to do. He did have the I'm kind of a big deal thing on his desk. He had the bat phone. So there was some pretty cool stuff there. But I got a complaint. It's a big one. Whoever the grunty guard was that was kidnapping Selena De La Renta. Oh, come on. Okay. Skip wouldn't have let that shit go. You just got a guy going, okay. Cheesy as fuck. Come on. That's not what you want to do for Lucha Underground, okay? That isn't the kind of legacy that show left behind, unless you're talking the 4th season. Maybe that guy came from that one. It's better off that we don't even talk about the 4th season. But yeah, the henchman guy, no, dial it back. You're on a 15. We need you on about a 7, pal. All right? Let's dial that shit back. Plus, his masks look like shit. Come on. You guys can do better than that. The Azteca Underground logo, you can do way better than that. MS Paint called. They want their fucking logo back, all right? So, look, I really want to like this. And Dario being there, that's going to make me like it. I'm intrigued to see where they go. I'm happy to see Luis back. Just maybe cut a little bit of the shit, all right? Yeah, all right. Otherwise, good work. I'm interested in hearing what the rest of these guys have to say, which is what I'm saying, but I don't really mean it. So I'm not going to watch the show if I'm not on the rest of it. Come on. I'm going to go look up some Lex Luger murder.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Fabi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
And we're back. So, not a small week in wrestling. I know we talked about the Dario thing for a long time. We could keep talking about it forever. I mean, it's
also his energy was a little low compared to the specific episode we watched today. It's a little jarring to watch him back and forth.
It's a little strange, but look, again,
Casey brought up some great points though, which I think I'm surprised that you were telling me you disagreed with him. Well,
I didn't see Casey's thing.
Explain your position.
I didn't see Casey's thing. This is not fair. This is where Brian tries to get over on me for being the producer guy now. So this is what happens. This is what I get for stepping into an executive producer role instead of being the guy on the ground, because then the guy on the ground fucks you.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-edit. By the way, that's a great bit of audio of yours to have recorded.
Great.
I'll see what I can do with that.
On the ground fucks you. Great. That's a new t-shirt. Hey, thanks to those ladies back there, Rosemary and Allie, and our good friends over at demonxbunny.com.
Yeah.
And rocking the hat. What's up?
I'd be wearing a shirt myself if I had access, but it's back in Los Angeles. I'm on the road right now.
Well, good. We'll just keep the ball rolling, and next time you're back in LA, you can rock that. And
yeah.
We'll have to see if they can. We have to see if they have any extra long dong sizes for Case. I would get them to send Meef something, but that never works. Meatloaf gets nothing. Somehow, a luchador that's wrestled 2 matches in his life in the slums of Mexico can somehow get him a mask overnight. But yet, like major companies and suppliers of products around the world can't fucking figure out how to mail something to Falmouth, England.
I want to give a shout out to Boss Fight Studios for making the best wrestling figures of all time. The Lucha Brothers.
The best wrestling figures of all time that Meatloaf can't have.
And they refuse to ship to Meatloaf. Meanwhile, we've been waiting. He got in on the pre-order right away. Justin orders one 2 weeks ago and has it a week later.
Yeah. And I believe they ran out like minutes after I ordered. So I'm like literally one of the last people to order, and I got mine before one of the very first people to order.
They could easily send them to me, and then I'll mail them to Meatloaf eventually.
Did he just give up altogether?
I don't know. It's hard to understand his accent.
No, but here's the thing. Meatloaf could DM Penta right now and buy the actual outfit that the action figure is wearing, like the real life version, and have it sooner than the figure.
Yeah.
He could probably get Pentagon himself airmailed to him directly easier.
Yeah.
And it might be a good workaround for the whole visa thing.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Penta doesn't have any visa issues. One of the few. One of 5, I count them 5 luchadors right now that can actually travel the world and work.
When is Biden going to save American Lucha Libre? Huh?
Soon.
When is he going to knock the wall down so the luchadors can get in here?
Mr. Biden, shows? Tear down this wall. I'm sorry.
The Lucha Libre economy has been failing.
I like your color correction. I need some of that. I have too many different color temperatures going on. I clearly have a daylight tungsten imbalance thing.
Yeah.
I need a solid 3600 programmed on my camera here.
I got this LED panel and I program it to a certain color temp.
Byron,
which is what
nobody cares.
Which is what I have.
I care, but like none of our listeners care about.
And then I set my camera, so the camera and my key light. No, fill.
It's a
key fill.
It's a key.
It's doing both.
No, it's keying where it is right now. That's a key light.
All right. It's lighting. I mean, it's just a straight dead on boring light.
But your camera's not straight behind it, so it's off to the side a little bit. So it's a key.
Yeah, it's off because
it's a key light, Byron. There's no other name for it. It's a shitty Phil-esque key light, but it's a key light.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Anyway, listen, let's get to the things that people actually want to hear about.
Can I say we're talking about some talents on some wrestling shows? I wasn't around last week, but the Impact show Rebellion I thought was really good. Trey Miguel definitely showed off. The Diana.
Go ahead. Diana Perazzo, go ahead. What about
her? I wanted Tenille. I don't know why my brain wanted to say Tenelle. I don't know why, but Diana Tenille was a good match. Their post-match tweets were also phenomenal. Rich Swann is the man. Like, there's no way he beats Kenny, blah, blah, blah. But, coming up from being like an X Division wrestler to being a legit, carrying the flag of Impact in this angle, I thought he did phenomenal. And hats off to him.
Well, and I think it looks like they're moving Sami Callihan into the prime spot against. I mean, I think they're going to decide at this week, but I feel like it's Sami Callihan. I hope that happens. I hope it's Kenny Omega, Sami Callihan. I mean,
you don't
fun.
You don't bring the belt back to Impact right away, so there should be some successful defenses, right? Callihan, would be a great match. I don't know if I want Moose to be the one. I mean, Moose, okay, sure, Impact champ.
I think Moose is going to be the one that takes it back. I think that they have to do that.
I don't want to see that match. I don't want to see.
I don't either. But they've hitched the horse to that wagon at Impact, haven't they?
I guess.
Is there anything else they can do? Like, who else do they put it on that makes a statement for them? They've invested in Moose for 4 fucking years now.
That makes sense. I
but don't want it to be Moose. I don't think they should be investing 4 years of time into Moose. Personally, I liked the Moose gimmick the first year of it, and then a little bit of his stuff with Cross was okay, and that even faded quickly. Like, and when do I ever say anything bad about the Cross stuff? I mean, every now and then I give shit, but pretty rare.
It's also he's a huge natural heel. So where's your feel good moment bringing the belt back?
I don't think you get one. I don't think Impact is going for that. I think Impact is going for the pure shakeup of bringing it back. But I don't think you'll see that till into summer anyway, at the earliest.
So maybe they'll sign someone else.
Am I crazy, or does Kenny does not have the AAA Mega Championship?
He has it.
Belt, does he? Has he been showing it off?
AEW, he has his Vincent walking around with his belts. Nakazawa he wore the 2 Impacts and the AAA belt, and Kenny wore. Okay. I wanted to ask you about this. So, and Kenny wore the AEW belt for his promo at Blood and Guts. Bubba Ray tweeted something about this. Other people have kind of tweeted about it and talked about how when Vincent was carrying the IWGP for Scott Norton, it was an insult. When instead of being like the guy carrying the champion stuff, it's like the visual. You see the other person's championship on an opening match, dude.
The black guy. What?
Nakazawa's Japanese.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. So sorry, my dad
rednecks is the same
somewhere else in the house. I want to make sure the mic is set properly so you don't hear. Anyway, so what do you think? What do you think about Nakazawa carrying the Impact and AAA belts for Kenny? Do you think that's a sign, a show off, like Kenny is that big of a deal, or do you think that's that they're lesser belts?
It's a diss for sure. Look, here's part of what Tony Khan wants out of this is, you're putting these other promotions kind of on equal footing with you by saying that there is an importance to them, to your champion. So in that way, he's showing respect to some of these other promotions. But at the same time, you do want them to look at your belt like it is the better one, and having your heel champion heel out. Like if it was a face champion, you have them do the Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
They walk to the ring with all the belts. They switch the positions of them. They all carry equal weight to them. They're all world championships. They have them do Mike Tyson. As much as Mike Tyson was a natural heel himself at that point in time, that's part of why he was exciting, though. He was very kind of subdued when he walked to the ring. There wasn't a lot of fanfare. Like, he walked out with all three of those belts that he had, or four, or whatever it was at the time. And he just came to the ring with them, and then he handed them over to the ref, and then he fought for one of them or all of them. It didn't matter. He didn't care. He was that kind of badass. Kenny is definitely doing the other thing, parading them around as his without actually carrying them. I mean, even Austin Aries wasn't such a dastardly heel when he was the belt collector, not a year and a half ago or whenever the hell that was.
He's nearly obsolete in the business now.
Yeah.
What a little twerp.
So anyway, I do want to talk about the Lucha Underground episode this week while we're still kind of in the Dario mindset. Again, I think we could talk about the Azteca Underground thing for ages. I think we're going to talk about it more.
Hit us up on the social medias.
And hit us up, too, of what you think you want to see out of Azteca Underground, what you are hoping happens July 10th at MLW. Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm personally really excited to go back to Philly to see some wrestling. It's been since ECW since I've seen any wrestling in Philly.
Mm-hmm. I would love to know, because I have all these nitpicks that we suffered through for the last hour. But for other fans, what you thought? What stood out to you? What mattered to you?
Maybe we'll throw out some polls or something too. Like, I want to know, first of all, if you even cared that Dario was back, if you thought that if you felt like it was signaling the real Lucha Underground coming back, or if you're ready to see any version of Lucha Underground back, or what you guys are looking for out of it. But let's talk about this episode. Lucha Underground Season 2, Episode 10 is called El Jefe is Back, and it is actually the return of Dario in the original storyline after he was kind of self-exiled and training Matanza off in the jungles of 385 miles away or whatever it is.
He left because Black Lotus killed El Dragon Azteca, and it started another Mexican war among the tribes.
Yeah, that's self-exile when you're hiding from people.
But then he came
and training.
He came back because his brother was tough enough to defend him now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. How many people has
he needed to eat some more members of the crew for breakfast?
But Matanza is literally wrestling in blood from how many people he murdered during this training? An entire town?
Well, I mean, at least the 3 white guys that showed up.
That's true.
I think those are the only ones that we can confirm went into the door and never came out.
But maybe allegedly 60% of that town aged.
Yeah, I would think 35.
So. He ruined their demographic. He murdered all the 18 to 45s.
18 to 45-year-old white males were just killed in Palmdale, Lancaster by the monster Matanza Cueto.
So they had to move to a different market to sell commercials again.
Hey, this week's band is Robert Rodriguez's very own Chingon.
Oh, imagine that.
Oh, imagine that. And I love the fact that they can't even get a shot of his face because of his cowboy hat and whatnot. Like, I don't know whether to think that Rodriguez is a dick for like not getting some FaceTime and not like letting the show have the rub of some solid, like, hey, there's the boss man, Robert Rodriguez on Lucha Underground playing the guitar in the band. Rhythm guitar, by the way. Standing in the lead guitar spot, but clearly playing rhythm guitar.
Oh, yeah. Power chords all day. I love it.
And they barely have a shot of the guy. The band isn't bad, by the way. I like his band.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, that's the thing where like...
They were better than 30% of the Lucha Underground bands.
Yeah. That's the
like
thing.
3 or 4 of them are really good, though. That's why I say that.
He's the big boss. And also, he's done a bunch of stuff. He knows how to get the shot. And it's not his job to show up and play music and tell people how to film it. They should have gotten a better shot of his face, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I was almost surprised that they even used that. Like, I just imagine Evie Dub in post, like, what the fuck? How did we not get a shot of Robert playing the guitar better than this?
Could
like,
you
if
imagine?
You're the executive producer and your other executive producer, who is much more important than you, shows up and is on the show playing in the band, and you don't get a better shot than that, you have to just feel personally embarrassed.
I love thinking that it was near the end of the song. Right when they're like Evie Dub walks over to Video Village to be like, all right, let's cue him to stop. We're going to start the show now. And he sees this horrible shot of him. And he asks, did we get the actual shot? What shot did we get of our boss here? And they're like, that's it. And at the same time, he's telling him to stop and knowing, oh, we didn't get it.
Well, see, and here's
I can't ask him to do it. We can't ask for a do-over at this point. And
for
then
people
he has
who
to
don't
live
understand how things go down, this was taped at the same time as Aztec Warfare, right? And didn't this get taped before it? Wasn't this all the same stuff on the same day?
I wasn't there.
I think.
But I would
anyway,
probably.
the way that Lucha Underground goes is typically in one day you would get 2/2.5 episodes filmed in one day. They would do 2 days in a weekend, so you could get up to 5 episodes taped in a weekend.
But that Warfare was Matanza's debut, so you would do that before you record a Matanza match.
True. Yeah. So this was all, but yeah, so they had the drummers out first, but then basically after the intermission, you get Robert Rodriguez, who's there to, I'm sure do some glad handing with Rey Mysterio and all the bigwigs. That's why they were there, because it was Rey's debut. It was not because Aztec Warfare was some big deal. It's because their money man came in. Mm-hmm. So Rodriguez is there, and it's like, yeah, my band's playing. And the way that it works is, the band plays like 2 songs, they tape them, and that's that. And then they cut them into the 2 breaks, and some bands would play into all the commercial breaks. Robert Rodriguez's band was not that band. I don't believe he was standing up there the whole time. I believe he came and played his 2 songs, his little 2-song set, and then he's back in the back with Dorian all up his butt, trying to be cool. So, and in that period of time, if you don't get the shot, you don't get the shot, and somebody probably got fired. Anyway, so El Jefe comes to the ring and he's doing some in-ring promo stuff, and he has plans for the Trios Championship and to crown a #1 contender for the Lucha Underground title.
Yeah.
And then Penta comes out and cuts a mean promo. He cut like one of his real, like, I'm going to kick you in the shins mean guy promos, which I like from Penta.
This is also kind of a shift where Dario's doing more wrestler stuff.
Yeah.
The in-ring promo.
Well,
manager.
Yeah, so Dario comes out and he's got to face down a wrestler, first of all. And then, Penta grabs Dario up and basically says he wants his brother, and he's going to show him what a real champion is. And the other thing I thought was interesting was this, I believe, was the first time he's listed as Pentagon Jr. We talked about this some last week or the week before. Like, they keep going back and forth between the calling him Pentagon and Pentagon Jr. Same thing with Tejano. Same thing with a couple of these guys. Chavo. Like, are they juniors or not? Like, make your mind up, Lucha Underground world. Some weeks there's somebody junior. The next week they're not.
I think he's always been a junior. It's a matter of just going short with it and commentating.
But I'm talking about like the full lower thirds change from week to week.
You have like 3 different editors doing shows.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. So for those who don't know, Lucha Underground basically had 3 main editors, and they worked from home, which is weird because Lucha Underground had offices at MGM, and they could have been in the office, but Eric Van Wagenen basically let them work from home, and he said he got good stuff from it. And I mean, I think it's why you see slightly different versions of color correction and other stuff from time to time.
Yeah, and on that note, I do want to offer my website, byronturk.com, to anyone who would like to hire me to work from home on the new Lucha Underground television series, if it so happens.
Hey,
those specific services
are
available.
Pitch. I've seen Byron cut. Byron can cut. He's got some good skills.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anyway, so Mundo and Taya versus Cisco and Cortez Castro. There was one thing that stood out to me about this match. It wasn't how hot Taya was. It wasn't how cool Johnny Mundo was. It wasn't even how low-key badass Mr. Cisco is.
He's very badass.
Low-key badass, but badass nonetheless. It was the fact that I'm pretty sure the moment in the middle of this match, Ricky Reyes got literally the quietest hot tag in Lucha Underground history. They work up to the hot tag spot. Somehow the crew are faces now, or supposed to be in this match. They're playing it up. Ricky's playing to the audience. Everyone is like, get the tag, get the tag. He gets the tag, and everyone's like,
you know what's messed up about that?
Wow.
We're talking about the editors. The audio, we grew up when piping in Goldberg chants was sacrilege and reason to make fun of everyone, right? Lucha Underground audio designs all of their crowd noise.
They get us all hyped up beforehand, recorded every time, use the best pieces forever.
Everything except Pentagon's chops are sweetened.
Yeah.
So someone made the editorial decision when Ricky Reyes comes in
not to sweeten that audio.
Lukewarm. Let's lukewarm this one.
I mean, but because what else could you do? The guys in the audience, people sat down.
No, because in the first season, especially, the crowd was sitting down and quiet for a lot. You would hear nuclear heat.
But I mean, literally, people are standing up when Cisco's taking the beat down, and then Ricky gets the hot tag, and you see people sitting down. People are going, are we allowed to go for refreshments? Which you were not allowed to do, by the way, in the middle of Lucha Underground. There was no getting up. You get up and get out. You don't come back.
That's why you brought
maybe if you're lucky at intermission, you get to come back.
After the show, when you'd fill out into the arena, you would see pee bottles and poop bags in the stands.
Unconfirmed. Tasty.
This is cool. By the way, this was a man and woman versus 2 men tag match, not even labeled intergender, because Taya was tougher than probably all 3 other competitors.
Taya just looks great going with the boys at this point in time. It's almost amazing that, later in her career, she was forced to go back to wrestling women. Like, you didn't even think about it. There was not even a thought that it was like, you were thinking, oh yeah, Taya looks great in that, but you weren't thinking, oh, there's a girl in this match. Like, it wasn't even a consideration at any point in time in Lucha Underground after she came in. It was just like, oh yeah, she's more badass than the Darewolf, so why not? Like, and I have nothing against PJ Black, but it's like he wasn't the most dynamic guy in Lucha Underground.
Anyway, he was there. He was having fun, but
Cage does a walk in, and I don't even know how the whole thing ended up here, but there was a match that was had.
I think Cage had a bit of a face turn where for the second time, Taya got pinned while Cage was staring Mundo down, preventing him from doing the save. The first time Cage was pinning Taya and was looking at Mundo. Mundo didn't get in the ring, so Mundo's playing a huge coward here.
Yeah, which I love. I think Mundo and Taya were just at the beginning of falling into their rhythm and each other. Well, and Cage, I mean, part of his face turn was because I think everybody knew about him and Melissa by this point too. So How could you not be high-fiving the dude on the way to the ring? Like, dude, you did. Wow. Okay.
He's just, first of all, I mean, if you follow any of them, well, I mean, he's a lovable guy. How could you not root for him?
He's the nicest guy in the world.
But also,
I mean, there's ways you could not root for him, but
he does talk fondly about his Lucha Underground time, which is great. And now the Azteca stuff is popping up. He's talking about Lucha again, how it was his favorite time. It's also like that's when he met his sweetheart. Expand upon that, but also like that's a great moment. You know, that's a great way to sort of color the Lucha Underground memory of his career. It's like, oh, that's when I met my wife. Some people like that memory. What?
Sorry, I'm freezing a lot. My internet connection is garbagey here in this hotel here in Charleston. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. So you just let me know if I'm glitching out, Byron, and you just take over anytime you need to. Oh, dear Lord, we're in for trouble. All right, vignette number 1. Vignette number 1, Trust Fund Moth. This is where we learn about the riches of the ancient Aztec tribe of the Moth, and this is well done. Like, we've already been selling... They've already sold us kind of the jokey side of Marty, and then this whole, like, yeah, I'm from some Aztec tribal family, and calling him Marty Martinez and this, that, and the other thing. So it was kind of a joke at first, but now they just kind of turned it deadly serious. Like he's playing it up. He's playing it a little bit for comedy, but this, I have always loved this vignette. It's the introduction of cheerleader Melissa as Mariposa, or the Mariposa as they call her in this segment. It looks like Seven or Silence of the Lambs or something. It looks like a Fincher thing that they're doing. We're talking about the quality of doing these vignettes. There was no reason that they had to go that extra mile, but they purposely went like Fincher discovering the glutton body scene in Seven with the whole look and feel of this thing. And Mariposa by far is the deadliest cheerleader to ever wear the mask in this family. And little did we know how perfect this character is going to be. By the way, this was cheerleader Melissa as Mariposa with her original breasts. For anyone who was questioning what happened in season 4 when the same costume barely fit her. She came back slightly different, like to the point where Evie Dub looked at me, then looked at her, then looked back at me. It's like, and then being the Joker that Evie Dub sometimes is, just looks at me, is like, there's something a little different about her, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, they're costume designers.
But they got it kind of right with her costume. Anyway, I've always been a big fan of cheerleader Melissa. I like her in this role. And I love the whole Marty reading from the blank book at the end of this. There's so many good touches in this vignette. And honestly, I didn't really care that much about Marty before this. I hate to say it because Marty's a friend of the show, like a real friend of the show. And
we should get him on the show.
Before he's some huge star at AEW, probably.
It's almost too late for that. I wanted him on the show months ago, but
I know my schedule's so crazy. We never know when we're going to do this, and wrestlers are never available on Saturdays when we record this thing because they're always getting ready for making money. And if they're not, that means
one's available at this time.
Hence why there's just 2 of us doing it right now.
Yes,
we're available at this time, Byron. It's our fucking show. This is why this happens. Anyway,
hold on. Let me call Marty right now, and I'll just hold the phone.
So, yeah, this was what this vignette was really what did it for me when they took kind of the serious, darker psycho killer kind of approach with Marty. We're getting away from just the weird, creepy sex stuff with Sexy Star, even though that's still the main kind of foil right now in the storyline. But they've also interjected the Mac now, so Marty is not just creeping on Sexy Star. He has somebody to face off with. There's a reason for him being maniacal.
This is just such great storytelling. It checks all the boxes. One, it establishes that this is a tribe with history. He talked about the Moth tribe, and it was a joke up until this promo.
They introduced a character into a tribe. Oh my god, something that they should have done the whole fucking time.
And they're legit. They've had wars already with other Aztec tribes. Okay, they have their secret weapon, Mariposa, and this is the deadliest one. It's the mask that gets handed. Blah 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 blah. The mask is such a big deal to Lucha Underground and Lucha Libre.
Wow, in Lucha Libre, making a mask important, especially when we're putting it on somebody who everybody knows their face. But yes,
so it establishes, the danger, the history, who they are, their presence, what they've been through, and then it establishes their mission statement. We're coming back to be the dominant tribe. Great. He has motivate. Now they both have motivation in the temple.
And it's great. And it worked. It worked on me because here's a guy that I didn't care a whole lot about before. And I saw this and I was like, oh, now I want to see this guy wrestle. Now I'm going to pay attention to him.
He was a super fan, being, coming in for a joke. And you're like, well, it just in the grand scheme of things, he could win or lose. He can get a laugh, but nothing. What did any of it matter afterwards? It's fun in the moment, and then it doesn't matter afterwards. And now it all matters. Because legacy, which is why the tribe system was so important to Lucha Underground.
Dear Mr. Khan, please watch season 2 of Lucha Underground. Vignette number 2, back-to-back vignettes here. Dario's office is guarded by Black Lotus, but Katrina teleports in like a ghost.
Yeah. But I love Dario is so blasé about it now.
He's just like, oh, I didn't see you come in. Of course you didn't. And neither did your watchdog, Black Lotus. But, he thanks her for keeping his temple going while she was gone. But now the rightful owner has returned, our man, Dario Cueto, and our theme of the week.
Yeah.
And she gives him the business about sooner or later, death is going to come for your brother. And then he's like, my brother doesn't fear death, but maybe Dario does.
What's interesting about this? One, we're going to learn later, I believe, that it's sort of been brought up. Matanza is part god. So he's kind of on the same playing field as Katrina.
Yeah, I don't think the whole backstory is there yet. I think at this point, we only know Dario has told the murdering story.
Yeah.
But he hasn't told the infusing of a god story yet.
Oh, but the Aerostar vignette, the little girl.
Oh yeah.
The tail. I think that alludes to it.
It does. There's one little teaser to it. It's a little breadcrumb. But also I don't know that was a fully formed idea at the time yet either.
Right. But another
actually having the Aztec gods inhabit anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the cage thing should be happening somewhat soon, which is another form of that, which would be awesome. But another thing is they're also showing the importance of the title, of the Aztec gold that they made the title out of. There's power. You run the place. Katrina does not step to Dario face to face. He's like, my brother's champ. We run the place. And she doesn't dispute that at all. She just goes, we're going to get the belt and then we'll be in charge because there's power to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing to know about Lucha Underground at this phase of Lucha Underground, this is where Krista Joseph really stretched his legs a lot. This is where he kind of got his whole juice with the whole thing. There's a lot of chefs in the kitchen for season 1, but what had happened is, season 2 wasn't that long after season 1, and these guys had been sitting around in the writers' room, and they'd finally become a writers' room, and they were
Frozen.
Yeah, there we go.
Sitting around the writers' room.
Yeah, and they were getting the approvals now from Evie Dub and Dorian and the other people, and it was working. Conan had already been pushed out, so then that also, I think, gave the writers' room a little more juice. And these guys are creative and they bounce well off each other. And if you don't know DeJoseph and Chris Roach, they are the Chris's are great foils for each other. Like, just look at their political debates. Like, these guys do not necessarily agree, but then the cream rises to the top of those ideas. And you're starting to see now as writers what they can do. And Skip is also trusting their storylines more and adding more ideas to them instead of, just coming up with his own or whatever. Skip's just flying in and doing what they've got on the paper at this point in time. So now you're really kind of seeing Krista Joseph as the real head booker of Lucha Underground as well, where he's really the last guy that touches the storylines. Regardless of what you hear from our other friends, whether it be Conan or Vampiro or even Evie Dub himself. Like, this was the point in time when Krista Joseph was clearly in charge because he had the ideas and the final say on the ideas coming out of the writer's room.
Mhm.
But this vignette, I think, is pushing the story along the right way. So now we know that Matanza and Mil Muertes is the feud that they're leading to on one side, and that Pentagon is the other part of that equation, and that he's the longer buildup. And I think
Katrina had a cool reverb in her voice, right?
Yeah, she was good in this scene, and the post on this scene was great.
Yeah.
So then we go into our match of the disciples.
Not yet.
What?
Then we go to a shot of a band playing and the Lucha Gringo, Professor Casey, dancing to the music.
Dancing to the other El Jefe, Robert
He's doing
Rodriguez.
the trout dance where you just kind of...
He did the tall white guy at a R&B show dance. It was amazing. Return of the Mac.
Oh, it's so great. Anytime the Return of the Mac stuff happened and Justin just watching it.
It just made my crotch itch even thinking about it.
How many people filled that arena? 300 to 500 at any given? You'd have like at least 200 different claps, beats.
It's so simple. Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Like, have some rhythm, people. And my Latino brothers and sisters, what is going on? Like, y'all, all that, like, come on. Y'all got, I've heard Selena records. Y'all got rhythm.
You don't got to bring Selena up, dude.
I mean,
you're asking for it.
I'm sorry. It would make me so angry. Anyway, I'm moving on. Disciples of Death versus the unlikely trio of Ivelisse, Son of Havoc, and Angelico. This is an elimination style trios match. I will say that Evie hit a very impressive Northern Light suplex. And it was nice to see. This was one of my favorite Evies. Like, she was healthy for 5.5 seconds. She was like jiving with the locker room. Nothing bad was happening. They were, on this nice little run. And Angelico,
her elimination spot was pretty creative too, where she went to the 619 setup where Katrina ringside would hit her with the rock and then she'd get the pinfall. That's how it typically is done. I don't know who came up with this, but Katrina went for the rock hit and Ivelisse blocked that. But in blocking that, she got exposed to someone else coming in and kicking her in the head for the 3 count. And I thought, oh, that's okay. It's the spot that goes there, but it's a very creative way to go about it. That is,
it was good. Like this match was not bad for an elimination style trios match. And Angelico, I love the springboard knee thing that he did. Like, I hadn't seen him do that move before, but it's kind of over the rope, bounces off the second rope, and then up with the flying knee off the second rope. And the dude is tall too, especially compared to most luchadors. I thought that was pretty impressive, though he did get eliminated with a nasty face plant that I think came from Barrio Negro.
That was one of the, oh God, that was...
Like, anytime the unlikely trio was in the ring, it was like, oh, okay, which one's getting hurt today? Is it Evie? Is it Angelico? Can it finally be Son of Havoc?
That looked like it was supposed to be like a reverse Meteora, where you get on the person's shoulders and go down and they face plant. But they got on the back and he just went head first, like he spiked his own pile driver.
I think I don't know if it did not look like there was any miscommunication or whatever. It looked like he screwed himself on the bump. Honestly, I don't know. It was a weird spot, but
I mean,
he's still pretty. Don't worry, he's still a pretty man.
Oh, maybe he just thought, okay, it's elimination. Only one person, the last person eliminated in the match, is going to go out to a legit finish. Everyone else is getting secondaries or roll-ups. So I don't want to go out to a weak-looking move. Maybe it was supposed to be like a backbreaker type thing because the knees were going to his back and maybe you're supposed to fall backwards. And he's like, I'm going to spike myself and look cool on my way out.
Maybe, I don't know, but it was pretty heinous. And it wasn't the only thing that looked kind of bad in this episode, like just pain wise. What happened after that? Oh, Son of Havoc eliminated Barrio Negro with a crazy double stomp thing. Evie got this a nice head kick, full extension on the head kick on Katrina outside. And I think all of us delighted in that just because when those two actually tussled, it wasn't a bad thing. You know, Carly knows how to bump and sell really well.
There's a reason they tried for that storyline between the two of them for 2 to 3 seasons.
4 seasons. It finishes at the end of the 4th season, finally. I mean, it was over and over again. They tried to keep making that happen.
Yeah.
And then and honestly, I firmly believe had Sexy Star not gotten herself ousted from the company, it would never have happened. But then I think they got reinvigorated when Sexy was out. Because Evie already had heat by then. Son of Havoc hits the moonsault on Sinestro de la Muerte for the win, and new again champions. Is that what happened at the end?
They retained.
They already had him. That's right.
Hit. Yeah. There was this one real fun spot where one of the zombies was running at Son of Havoc at the side of the ring, and Son of Havoc pulls the top rope down so the guy can flail over. Like if you're going for a clothesline, the guy will flail over, and the guy just dove through the ropes in between them. And then they quickly went to a tope or suicide dive or something, so you forgot about it. But what?
Yeah. There's a few of those kind of moments.
So the next thing.
What happened? Vignette number 3.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio
cool mask.
Confronts Dario about Dragon Azteca Sr.
This is a great storytelling vignette too.
And that and Rey did a great job here too. Like, you know, throughout Rey's career, he's cut some promos, but he doesn't get a whole heck of a lot of them. They just kind of send him in as the other dog, and he gets a, yeah, man, stop picking on me kind of thing going on. Like, he did a lot with Filthy Animals back in the day, but didn't do a ton during his WWE run. Right. And you forget that the guy's been around forever, and he can cut a freaking promo. He's not a terrible actor here, and he actually even seemed, he's got a kind of a high voice, but he seemed pretty tough in this scene. Like, they did a really good job with him. So he thinks Matanza's responsible for the Dragon Azteca Senior thing, and Dario's just doing one of these like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. But hey, if you guys want to wrestle here, we can make that happen.
But okay, number 1, Rey Mysterio, you're the best luchador in the world. This is where it happened. Number 2, we're also getting, and this is also from Dario's mouth, so take it for what you will, which is part of the storytelling. We're getting what the temple is, what the intention is. We're getting all of that explained.
Yeah, he's just like, look, hey, I don't know anything about your Dragon Azteca thing, but I'm trying to create the premier palace for showcasing your fighting skills in the world, and I'd love for you and even that Dragon Azteca Junior guy to be a part of it,
Yeah. Like, and then they toast to it, but they all, tension still.
But see, this I love. I love this, Dario. Like, I'm gonna you're coming after me, but I'm gonna turn it on its head and get just 2 great luchadors out of the deal. Good story writing, good acting, great directing, like another good scene. Then we get Sexy Star with the Mac versus Mariposa with Marty the Moth. And right off the bat, Stryker is fucking up because he's talking about vignette backstory stuff that the announcers aren't supposed to have seen.
Maybe Mac was talking to him before the show.
I don't know. He's explaining things that he's not supposed to have seen.
Yeah, that's weird.
About creepy moth segments.
It's
all he should know is that Marty pushes up on Melissa when he does his ring entrance. That's all he should really know about Marty.
Well, they haunted Sexy Star at a match once.
Yeah, I mean, like they've had their confrontations with him in front of the crowd by this point already a few times. But at the same time, he shouldn't know the whole abduction, creepy, every woman is sexy, every woman is a star thing that they're going for here.
How far was she abducted? Because it was a season break on the show. So how much fighting was still happening at the temple?
I have to make sure that Casey's opinion about this is felt right here, that this was Chris DeJoseph fucking up in some fashion, because I'm sure he would be saying that, because Chris was pretty much responsible for the Sexy Star push. I did not disagree with him at the time, though. I can't, as much as I want to hate on Sexy Star and just tell you I always thought she was crap, I did not always have that opinion, and I did not have a problem with this part of the storyline. The first part with the creepy moth stuff, I wasn't a huge fan of, but I had I would love to say I did, but I don't have any issue with this part of Sexy storyline. I just don't.
Well, a lot of the stuff, this whole thing was meant to put her over, but even if you didn't like her, I think the storyline did deliver for everyone involved.
Yes, and guess what else happens here? A debuting luchadora gets a win.
Yeah, which is
very rare for Lucha Underground for somebody to come in and get a win. It's usually not what they do.
But a second Lucha Underground trope is canceling out that one, because what you're doing is you're having two major long storylines kick off with a squash match.
Yes.
Twice, back to back.
Yes.
So they're doing two big things in the same show again, the same way.
Yeah, it was very interesting. But I did I did like this, and Melissa, God bless her, she works so fucking stiff. I'm sorry, crisp.
She's good. We were super excited to see her.
Just power. It is not pretty. This match is not pretty. I'm not telling you to watch this because it's some technique fest or something. No. Melissa just goes in there. Sexy tries to lead for half a second, but she's just like, no, this is my match, and just power moves her around the entire time. Yeah. It's a short match, but which I think is the other reason why Melissa was just like, no, don't worry about it. I know you guys do lucha libre thingies, whatever. I'm just gonna
You get introduced you get introduced as the most deadliest version of your character in the history of your tribe. You have to come in and
I love it
in this fashion. It's the only way to go down.
She hoss fights little ass Sexy Star. But honestly, at the end of the day, it makes Sexy Star look good. It made Sexy look like she could take a bump. It made Sexy look tough for getting beat up like that and squashed. It worked. Like, something about this match actually works, and there are very few Sexy Star matches where you can say that. In fact, I count maybe 3 or 4 total in the entire run of Lucha Underground, and she had probably 40.
And one of them is the False Count Anywhere Mariposa match, right?
The I Quit match.
The I Quit match. That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
Her big match against Taya was awful because she couldn't count to 10.
Correct.
We'll get there.
And Taya also respects Lucha Libre to a certain extent, and I don't think wanted to do what Melissa does in this match, which is just manhandle her, throw it around the ring, lead the whole time. Sexy Star was there to bump, and Melissa made sure she knew it, and I think that was the right call. And then she hits her with the butterfly effect move, which was actually pretty good and also very crisp.
I don't know how that doesn't murder every time, the vertebraker.
Yeah. It was pretty devastating looking, to the point where I was like, ooh, we might not have a whole lot of Sexy Star around after this. But she was fine. Sexy got up after it just fine. Marty attacks Mac afterwards, and all the hell breaks loose and all that kind of stuff. Vignette number 4. We get 4 vignettes in the show.
Yeah.
This was just Dario letting Matanza out of the cage and commanding him, again, playing storylines into the ring, commanding him to specifically break Penta's back. I don't know if this vignette was shot after the match, which is also possible. A little retcon vignette here, throwing that in, or maybe it was always the plan. But we go into the monster Matanza Cueto versus Pentagon Jr. match. Awesome stuff. It's like a hoss fight and Lucha Libre mixed together perfectly. These guys are very compatible sizes. They figured out how to really showcase their two different styles, and basically base for each other, and then also turn it into an epic, ringside brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff. I like some of the Penta taking legit hard shots at Cobb, and him letting him do them, and like letting him have the big kicks and stuff, like full Muay Thai kicks.
Yeah.
And Penta's got him. You don't see him much anymore, but
those hamstring kicks, he would really get at people with them.
Yeah, and to the point where you knew, because you would hear a double slap, because the first slap you would hear was not his leg, it was his leg on the other guy's leg, and then he would be slapping his leg afterwards. Like, his timing is usually a little slow on the actual kick when he throws it hard. And you would hear the double slap, and you'd be like, "Oh, he just lit him up for real."
Yeah, the
great kick.
hamstring is no joke too.
And we also see, as we were talking about before, speaking of our return of Dario, Luis is working ringside for the first time ever. He's valeting, he's managing, he's actually at ringside. This was not his finest ringside performance. It gets much better. He did just kind of stand there and watch the match a lot of the time.
But you do get one of the gifts, one of the big Dario gifts, I think was born of this on the table spot where he's like, yeah.
You get him throwing up his arm. But it's also like, for an actor who's probably used to a lot more direction of something, it's like, go out there and react to the match. Like, I don't know what you tell somebody the first time they're managing a wrestling match who's not really in the wrestling world. Like, he's been around Lucha Underground forever, but to my knowledge, Luis wasn't sitting at Gorilla watching the matches or anything. A lot of times he would literally go in the office and use that as his green room and just kind of hang out until he had to come out between matches. There's also plenty of times when he wasn't there at all on taping days, especially in the first season. So I just found it interesting to see him kind of move into this role. And I wonder if they had a conversation with him about, that his role was going to expand into actually being a ringside participant, because what that leads to. I mean, if you're a heel manager, but if you're a heel manager, eventually you're going to bump.
You mean at the beginning of the show?
Yeah,
when Pentagon threw him down.
Yeah, but it's also, it's leading to bigger bumps too. Like anytime you're taking on that heel manager role, like, ask my buddy Anthony, he's been in wrestling for 20 some odd years now, and he does heel manager characters and gimmicks all the time. And eventually it leads to everyone's got to be happy when he takes a big, stupid bump, somebody choke slams him off the second rope or something stupid. And he's, and when you're the heel manager and you take the bump, the sell is, you can't look like you know how to take a great bump. That's the sell. The sell is you have to flail, you
have to take it wrong.
You have to take it wrong, except tuck your chin. That's kind of the heel manager rule. You get to tuck your chin, and everything else you're supposed to do wrong and look like you got creamed. And then you're supposed to overreact to the bump. That's the heel manager way. Even Heenan did it a rare few times in his career. Like every heel manager bumps at some point in time. So I just find it very interesting that here you're taking a noted actual SAG actor and you're putting him out there as a heel manager. It's like, okay, we're opening up a whole new world here for Mr. Luis. So, and now that they got him over there at MLW, I wonder if there's another bump in his future. Though I do believe they can play the whole storyline. Look, realistically, how many times do they need to bring him ringside or actually even out in front of an audience? 3, 4 in like a season of MLW or Azteca Underground?
Here's something else that we didn't bring up before. This is very important. Very important. Suppose it's a different show and he's going and he follows through with, he's going to make a temple in Philly. And that's going to be the new Azteca Underground temple. Let's just suppose all of that, right? Because he's going there. Maybe he's just announcing it at that show. He's going to do it wherever if he's going to do it. But do you want to jam pack, just like the old temple, however many people, maybe 200, whatever, if it's smaller, but do you want to jam pack a bunch of Philly fans, people from Philadelphia in there, and let them loose on a bunch of violent wrestling like that?
Here's the thing. I think if you do bring it back as a separate show, if it's part of MLW, then the answer is yes.
But what I'm saying is
if it's its whole separate show, no, you take it to Texas or you go back to LA or you go to PA or somewhere else. Like
you have the rabidness of the believers in Los Angeles.
They have nothing compared to ECW.
Chanting bodily fluids, right? But Philadelphia,
but in ECW, you have somebody fill up a cup with bodily fluids.
That's what I'm saying. Philadelphia notoriously has the worst, most unstable, most dangerous sports fans in any sports league. And
you mean to say the most awesome fan?
When you see one of those Bleacher Report worst home fans or whatever in all sports, Philly, every sport, they're on it like 3 or 4 times. Worst baseball fans.
Unless you're the fan, which makes it awesome. And for wrestling, when it's in a home city like that, you're like, did you not like the ECW arena crowd?
I loved ECW, but could you imagine if they were let loose and encouraged like the Lucha Underground fans were?
I was there.
There would be murder if those people.
There was also a lot of very, very large security guards. But the funny thing is, those guys were all so huge that I feel like the crowd could have overwhelmed them at any point in time. They were just big. The ECW security guards were just big. You know, the wrestlers were scarier than the security guards, but they had all these guys in like turtlenecks and stuff, and they would just walk around and hover. And, you know, they kept the crowd in line when they got too obnoxious, but the crowd was still kind of encouraged to be obnoxious. I mean, dude, anytime Bubba Ray came out, Jesus Christ, the whole goal was for him to come as close to inciting a real, honest to God riot as humanly possible.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we push the limits as believers in the original temple, but I think you have a bunch of people who don't know any better. There might be legitimate murders in the stands if they were to put the temple in a wonderful city as Philly with the wonderful people as Philadelphians.
I don't know, because I think the whole nature of the kayfabe behind Lucha Underground would actually keep that crowd more docile. The thing about ECW that made that crowd so rabid, and I don't think you could duplicate it, was that the violence was different. Like the violence with Lucha Underground is implied, and it's a wink and a nod, even in the stories and even in the way it's talked about. People weren't bleeding every episode. There weren't chair shots all the time. Like ECW, there was a minimum of 10 chair shots per taping.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include the other plunder, and it doesn't include if New Jack was on the bill. I mean,
New Jack.
You know,
El Nuevo Jack in Azteca Underground. Let's do it.
Just the Axel and Balls and the Dudleys alone, even the Italian gimmick they had with Smothers and those guys would have just carnage matches sometimes. You know, the one match where you would probably get the least amount of carnage in a taping would either be Shane Douglas or Rob Van Dam. You know, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, there was blood every match. Hard way, blood. Yeah. And if there wasn't enough hard way blood, then New Jack would just cut somebody. Like, I don't think that any ECW crowd, even if they were at a Lucha Underground taping, would ever be as rabid as some of those crowds were, to me. But I don't know. I think that the Lucha Underground believers, to me, are still some of my favorite wrestling fans of all times, because of the fact that they had that love of the product, and they put that same kind of energy that you got from the ECW crowd into it, but they still appreciated the art and the pop culture that Lucha Underground was kind of creating. And I don't think you had that with ECW. Like, there was a subsect of the ECW fans, and they were the ones doing the tape trading, and that really appreciated like the Ray and Psychosis stuff when the Luchadors came in, and Super Crazy and all that stuff, and Tajiri, that got that stuff. And they infused little elements of that. But I feel like the Lucha Underground crowd was 85% that the whole time. It was maybe 20% of the ECW crowd, and the rest was, you know, drunk dudes in a beer hall.
Yeah, I think we agree that there was something to being in an amped up Lucha Underground crowd in the temple with all the believers that has never been duplicated. But I also think that we agree that Philadelphia fans are horrible people and should be in jail.
Oh, they're not. The MLW show itself that's going to be on Vice, they should do that and push everything further than ECW did. I think that wrestling is ready for that. And
that'd be cool.
If Azteca Underground is part of that, then they're going to have to go along with that too. But if it's a separate thing or whatever, I still think that whatever the MLW on Vice product is should be TVMA. What XPW, God bless you, Kevin Kleinrock, what XPW thought that it was.
It's so funny that we have to be nice about XPW now.
I think that the new MLW should be what XPW thought that it was.
With the porn star wrestling?
I mean, in this day and age, no, they're called sex workers or cam girls.
No. I mean, all respect to sex workers, but like XPW was like, let's rip off ECW and bring in porn actresses.
Because that was the underground video production community that you had in Los Angeles at the time.
That's true. I mean, I guess it makes sense like that. But if you're an ECW dude and you're like, oh, these guys are blatantly coming after them, and there was like a legit war.
It's the same way that Kimbo Slice got famous. Come on.
Yeah,
producer guys.
Okay. And what happened?
They got
to him?
money. They're trying to do something slightly more legit, but still super edgy because that's their world that they come from, and it works.
And what happened? Well, where did Kimbo end up?
Dead.
All that? Yeah.
Well, and with bad knees. But it's the stuff of legend now, just like ECW. Like Paul, where did Paulie end up? He ended up working for the competition and making way more money than he ever made with ECW. But ECW's got a huge legacy.
That's true. Hey, what happened at the end of this match that we're talking about?
Matanza hits the Wrath of the Gods for the win after there is a back bump that Pitta takes where he is thrown into the part of the outside of the ring where there's a cage up here and there's a wood floor down here. But there's also this wooden rim around the edge, which I believe they actually took off later. He back bumps into it and they're selling this whole back angle, but the back bump into that thing looked tremendous. Also, for the first time in ever, the announce table breaks.
Yeah.
Did they gimmick it? It looked maybe like it was gimmicked. I don't know.
It was full of stuff, but
I don't think the announcers knew the spot was coming. I think the spot was probably planned, but other people have been they've attempted to slam other people through that table before, and it just doesn't break. It's like one of those Japanese announce tables.
I am the table. Yeah, for sure. Another thing that happens here is Vampiro gets up and he takes a bump off of Matanza to put him over, and he's doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, Stryker does stand up and take his headset off because his friend and partner Vampiro is in danger.
That was a good touch.
And then Stryker thinks, oh no, I'm not going to help this.
No.
And then sits back down.
He sits back down, but he says the best thing ever, which I don't know if it was planned or not, but he's like, are we still on the air? Are we still? Which is a great touch for a show that is taped. I thought it was a good touch. And it sells, and then he doesn't say a whole heck of a lot after that.
No.
They just kind of let it play out. They let it breathe. And then they do the stretcher job. And then Vampiro looks at the camera from the ambulance. I get what they were trying to do. And I don't believe that was a vamp thing as much as it looks like a vamping thing. I believe it was a skip thing. And I think he was going for like one of those wink and a nod end of a Friday the 13th movie kind of things where it's like, is that Vampiro in there or is that, the spirit of the maestro?
Right.
Yeah.
He's talking about the migraines that he hears with like,
but it needed something else. Like it needed some superimposed weird effect or something that I feel like they just didn't do where you see like the spirit of something else inhabiting Vampiro or something. Because really what it turns out looking like is just like that Vampiro's got a huge ego and that he's doing some weird breaking the wall, looking at the camera thing at the end. I don't know.
That was kind of cool. They did a stretcher ambulance spot. Like it really made it a big deal. You haven't seen that yet on the show.
Yeah, and as far as any of you listeners are concerned, if Casey asks, we gave this a 1 out of 4 because Penta lost and got stretchered. But secretly, I really like this episode.
It was a good episode. Should we go to break and then do another 2 hours?
Let's go to break and then we'll come back and talk about a little bit of Dynamite.
Okay, no.
We can't talk about Jimmy Walker's my third cousin.
All right, let's talk about Jimmy Walker then.
Dynamite. All right,
let's go. You have to say about him?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw him at a family reunion once. He was like holding court on the other side. He looked like a douchebag. I don't know. What am I going to say? It's Jimmy Walker.
You know what happens. Money changes people.
I'm pretty sure he was that guy the whole time. All right, we'll be right back.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
And we're back. Byron, I know you're busy over there, but I got something to say. I got something to get off my chest.
All right, let's move on to the next topic at hand.
AEW
reviewing Impact again. Let's go.
No, AEW Blood and Dynamite. Blood and Here's my thing. You're going to tout throughout the show your live audience. You're making your live audience like they're a character at your show. You're doing
what?
All that audience that you're referencing so highly and gloriously is watching all of the wrestling on a Titantron. What the F?
That's that is, I mean, they could have handled that better, but also I watched it on TV, so not my problem. But also they just looked at it like they're building that. You couldn't build that whole cage. So you'd have to have the whole show with the cage or only the wrestling with the cage and everything else another time. If that makes sense.
Because they couldn't do the scaffolding above to raise and lower it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Right. You couldn't do it live. You couldn't do non-cage matches and cage matches live. So
what a nightmare.
I don't know. I think
all right. Great.
I think you were
That's
going
my
to
review of Blood and Guts.
I mean, I think it was really cool. I think you're getting a big time pay-per-view match on a regular Wednesday night show, and you're going to a regular Wednesday night taping, and you're paying that ticket, and you're getting that big match for it. So there's a little bit of give and take, and whatever. Just understand that it's a special occasion. Hopefully, it's not, or it's logistically done a little bit better the next time. Maybe, but it's also, I don't know, live fans were offered refunds because they weren't told beforehand they were only going to see one match live. Also, I don't know, maybe you want to just do some dark matches in front of them, maybe, but also then you're ruining the gimmick if you show people wrestling in a cage before the big cage match.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever. I watched on TV, so that wasn't my problem.
Well, I mean, I don't know that there was a lot of issues with this, but I had a few.
I watched with Urban of the Last Row Heels. We both had a good time. His dog, Philip, aggressively.
Oh, were you hanging out with Urban? I didn't get to catch up with him when I was in Tennessee. The weather was too horrible the days that we were both available to try to hook up when I was out there.
Yeah, I hung. Yeah, it was real bad, but it was Cinco de Mayo, so we went to his favorite Mexican food spot and ate too much food.
Cinco de Drinko.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston defeat Kenny Omega and Nakazawa.
Yeah.
I get it. It was smart. It was a good way to play it. Like, you want Kenny out there. You want to keep the thing going. Here's what I like. I like Moxley and Eddie as a tag team. But they got to get him out of the sphere of Kenny Omega. Like, I don't personally feel the need for Jon Moxley to be a foil for Kenny Omega while he's on this current quest for gold, to use a Matt Hardy term.
They should be going over.
Whoever wrote that.
They should definitely be going over a lot.
Yeah, and I get it that you're stalling because right now I think the storyline's going to play out first over at Impact, then come back to AEW. But and I get Moxley and Kingston going over here, but I just let's have that be it for now. Can we just let Moxley out of the Omega thing for a while?
I liked how Omega didn't show up at first, and you're like, oh, it's going to be them beating up Nakazawa.
But the guys on commentary ruined that for me. I don't know if you're listening to the commentary or not, but the whole time they're like, no, we've seen Kenny Omega. He's here and blah, blah, blah. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing that on commentary? What purpose does that serve? The only thing that can serve you in that moment is getting the commentators over.
Mm-hmm.
And what the fuck do they need to get over for?
JR is going to make that one final run in the ring, make up for all of the jobbing.
Well, Tony, I think that we've seen Kenny Omega in the back. He's here.
Oh, Oklahoma God. For TNT champ.
Go buy some barbecue.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
They don't play the Boomer Sooner theme for him when he comes out at AEW, do they?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know, but I think it would be amazing if he had a retirement show and they brought back the character Oklahoma, and then he just got to kick him right in the junk on TV.
Hey, Byron, if that first match wasn't pointless enough for you, let's take 3 or 4 weeks of TV with a feud with QT Marshall and Cody and have Cody go over when QT's out there with all of his boys and Arn gets banned from ringside. The fuck?
So
the fuck? What the fuck is that?
I was watching for one match. It's a Wednesday night. I'm watching for one match.
I know, but that's but look.
But here's the other
what
thing.
You put in front of the one match matters, man.
But this made sense, right? It made sense to me because QT Marshall does not ever need I'm not even making fun of him. He does not need to go over in this match. He goes over by being slightly competitive with Cody Rhodes, but who does go over is Ogogo, who gets that liver shot on Cody and puts him on a shelf again afterwards. That's what you need. That's who is getting put over in this storyline.
I get that he's getting the heat, and that works. That is the one part of it that works. But at the same time, you're building the QT thing up. I would have put the loss on Cody here with the help from Ogogo.
But Cody's the boss in real life.
And I love the guy. And the guy has done me a personal solid in the past. And I don't want to shit on it, but he shouldn't be going over here. You know?
Also
in the records matter thing, it's the records matter for you and the Young Bucks and Kenny and maybe Adam Page. And everybody else's record gets whatever. I do like how they reset the records based on the seasons that they kind of loosely have, but
every year.
Whatever. I whatever.
If you want to be the Varsity Blondes and be in a title match, you have to win on Dark for a month. And then you have
the next one they got 100% right. Britt Baker squash match. Great.
She doesn't even lock up with the jobbers. I love that the most.
This is amazing. Everything about this, you're trying to present her as a top guy and not a jobber herself, which isn't in her very distant past.
Yeah.
More of this, and they're putting her. Tony has to listen to the show. He has to. I mean, they are doing exactly what I kind of said that they should do with the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker thing from the start. Have Thunder Rosa and Britt be your on and off feud of the year. Build Britt up enough so that she's got the credibility. Let Thunder Rosa put her over and have at least 1 or 2 epic matches. Guess what? They had one giant epic match. And then is the time to push Britt to the title. Let her take the title. Let her do the heel run as the queen. And then at the end of the year, into the summer, you bring Thunder Rosa back and you reignite the feud. And honestly, at that point in time, it's not even going to matter which one of them goes over. They're going to be your 2 top female performers. You're going to have made 2 stars. And so far, this is one of the storylines that they're getting right. Now, some people dislike Britt, but I think that you're disliking Britt because they're doing the right job with her. They've made her a heel. She is the female Roddy Piper right now, and she's really good at it. And if you're hating on it, then you might not be the wrestling fan that you think you are.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Anyway, they got that one right. SCU defeats Acclaimed, Jurassic Express, and Varsity Blondes. I think they got this one mostly right. I would have loved to have seen the Acclaimed go over here. I get why they aren't, because they haven't done quite what they need to do with the Acclaimed yet. I think that check is in the mail, but also with the storyline that you're given, Kazarian and Daniels, whatever, I think that this is the way to do it, especially now that Scorpio's broken off on his thing, which is also great. I like his heel gimmick.
I was looking at Scorpio and Ego going, they just took 2 tag guys who wanted to make a big leap from their tag team career.
Yeah.
To do well. Now they're in another tag team. But they're two singles guys together, and they're really. I mean, Ego's been great, but
see, that's why I like them, because I look at those two guys and I see a heel tag faction, and I think that works for them. I think AEW has a little bit too much going on with that, whether it be the best friends contingent or whether it be, Miro and the video game guys, Kip or whatever. Like, I think they do have a lot of that going on already, but that also might be one of the reasons why this works, because it's one of the things that AEW does know, and they can take these guys into singles and tag matches. It's one of the problems that they have with FTR and Young Bucks and whatnot, that some of those tag teams don't have individual identities at all. So it makes setting up and leading up to the bigger matches harder for them. Anyway, I would have liked to have seen it be the Acclaimed. I think the Acclaimed needs a big push sometime soon before it fades. Like,
Max's rap was also really great. It always is.
Aren't they always? Like, the dude's just money right now.
He's a big dude.
And speaking of which, other dude, he reminds me a little bit of Slice Boogie. Slice Boogie's in NWA now doing a bunch of stuff. I'm really happy for him, and I've always liked that guy. I got to start watching some more NWA now that I have the fight thing going on. I just haven't had time. So, SCU defeated these guys, but I'll tell you what my biggest qualm with this whole match was. I thought that the Seidel brothers should have been in there instead of the Varsity Blondes. I think they've been doing a great job recently. They're exciting and fun to watch. You don't want them to win because you don't care about them that much, but they are better foils for the other top tag teams right now than the Varsity Blondes are. I find the Varsity Blondes to be fading quite a bit.
I mean, those Varsity Blondes, I think, are still up and coming dark wrestlers, I think it's great that they got the identity and they're getting a taste of having personalities on Dynamite. They're not Dynamite wrestlers yet, and I don't think it's fair to expect them to be.
But I think the Seidel brothers are. I think, I honestly, right now, I want to see Seidel brothers versus the FTR.
Yeah, no, those guys have come in and they've been worthy of the main event on Dynamite. Yeah. Like, they've proven it in matches. I think
I would love to see like the Seidel brothers versus FTR in NXT. Yeah, is what I really am saying is that would be great. I don't know that AEW could pull that feud off the right way and stretch it out long enough and find enough interesting things to do in between to make it work and get it to a pay-per-view. But I think they deserve it.
Varsity Blondes were there, and I think it makes sense. I'm not saying this as a cheap shot, but in my belief, they were in that match. And they could hold their own. It's not they were only in a match because of this, but the Pillman documentary was airing that night. And so Brian Pillman Jr. was there in his dad's tribute tights.
I think that too.
That's a feel-good moment. And anytime you could get any kind of feel-good moment in wrestling, especially for a guy like Brian Pillman Jr. They weren't going to win the match.
Yeah,
so
we knew that. I mean, like, and I'm not saying the Seidel brothers should have won the match either if they had been in it. Like, look, I think the two choices were Acclaimed or SCU, and SCU got it. Okay, so let's talk about, now we've got our live audience. We're going to do a thing. We know that Pentagon's not going to be doing anything great on this episode. What's that?
Was this a full crowd?
1,500 in daily.
They
so
know
not
full. They're doing full, I think, for Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can now. Dude, I was just in Florida.
They're doing concerts. No, I'm in Tennessee right now. There's no rules here. People don't wear masks.
Dude, South Carolina is already like, people aren't really, it's not really a thing. But man, Florida was like they're looking at you like, dog, it never was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're still getting like 500 people dying of COVID a day there, but whatever. I guess it doesn't matter.
My job right now is starting to test me again, even though I'm vaxxed because of the spread of variants now. So it's like back to square one. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
That's the new show, MMMshow, the premiere.
Yeah, so now you have the headline match in front of the whole crowd, and there was a match. That was it.
It was messed up. Dynamite gets a 0 out of 10 for no Penta matches, let alone no Penta wins.
Oh, that's what I was actually saying when you cut me off. Is like, yeah, like we don't. They're not even on the card. They're not even on the show. Anyway,
that's the whole thing. Because
someone's in Tony's ear going, the Lucha Brothers are going to be too over on Cinco de Mayo, and they're going to overshadow me blading in the main event.
Yeah, is it wrong to say that I think that Indy Hartwell was in the better version of this match this week?
The blood and guts?
I mean, their NXT street fight, whatever thing. Anyway, the girls tag match and whatever. All right, I'm going to talk about blood and guts.
I haven't seen that match
I'm going to talk about blood and guts. Okay, so look. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, once upon a time, a long time ago. One of the things I like about the whole blood and guts thing is the backstory. If you don't know it, with Vince saying, we're not going back to blood and guts or whatever he said in that conference call. So this is a play on that, and Cody trying to steal back a little bit of his dad's legacy that sadly belongs in WWE at this point, because WWE owns the rights to all that footage. They own that concept. I get it. It was Dusty's thing. I don't begrudge him having his own version of it.
Yeah.
However,
he bought War Games, so MLW owned War Games.
Somebody else did, and then now it's back to Vince.
MLW was literally running War Games for a minute. The shows were called that.
I don't know that anybody owned it at that point in time is what it was. I don't think the trademark was officially filed or whatever. So anyway, they're calling it blood and guts. It is a War Games match. Dusty and the old timers who mostly work in AEW now were all the ones there at the original one or part of the booking team and whatnot. So I get it. They're like, damn it, we want our thing back. And the last AEW War Games or NXT War Games was not bad, but wasn't epic either. And I will say this. I think that the talent in this match did exactly what they were supposed to do. I thought the storylines were interesting. I liked how Wardlow and Hagar were presented a lot. I never have anything bad to say about Santana and Ortiz.
Oh my God, they were the best.
They were really good. Sammy Guevara, God bless him. MJF's acting, everybody's blading or hard way, pulling up the mat was a great look. Taking down the ring ropes, but there was a lack of slickness to this that made it feel like an AWA house show. There was something missing, and this is the whole WWE factor that keeps AEW clearly behind WWE in a lot of ways. The fact that they couldn't figure out how to suspend the cage and do trussing that got the audience in there. The pacing of the match and the way they timed it out for TV. The agenting and the times when everybody was just sitting there blown up because they had done some tremendous stuff. It just didn't. The timing of a lot of the stuff didn't feel right. Also, I felt like some of the guys, like even Sammy Guevara, I think that he was agented well for his opening segment of the match, and then nobody helped him through the rest of it. And the refs aren't calling in anything, sending anything in, and there was just a few moments where it was just like, guys, what are we doing here?
Well, that's where they didn't have refs in the ring helping, and they didn't have refs on top of the cage, and that's where you see where the refs contribute. That the strings, whatever, but you don't see behind the curtains.
They're a conduit to Gorilla, but also ask yourself, who's at Gorilla? Is Arn back there helping agent the match? Like who's at Gorilla for this match?
Yeah,
I don't know. And that's a legit question. Like I honestly don't know that. But my problem with AEW a lot of the times is I feel like they don't know that either.
Yeah. There was something to this. I thought everything, like you said, was great at the beginning. Everyone had how they were getting in their House of Fire moments. It felt like once MJF and Jericho got on top of the cage, they didn't show anything inside the cage. Nothing mattered in there anymore. And then from there, pacing and timing. I think it'll all get fixed when it gets edited into a package. But from there was no pacing or timing or suspense. And again, how could you blame them being in the moment with what they're going through? But also Jericho, by the way, I think he only took 3 bumps. One of them was him giving a code breaker.
Yeah.
By the way, and he was so.
But that's okay because the new look works great for him. I mean, it's like half lion tamer, half the badass cursing Jericho from Japan right now, and he's playing them all as face. Yeah, I love it.
But it's the ending was ruined. The ending was just ruined because I don't know if they ended early or if they don't know how to direct a show or a movie. But like less is more. I'm all aboard them doing the stunts, like the stunt falls. They've been doing them. Great. Toss a guy off and that even just 10 feet and land on him.
But that was so stupid. How would you show
the bag on camera?
It wasn't even the spot that bothered me. The writing of the spot bothered me more. So you're the threat of pushing him off the cage, you get the win, and you're going to push him off anyway. I get how you're reading that on paper and you think that makes MJF more dastardly. But also what it does is it insults your wrestling fans because what they're waiting for is to hear the bell ring. The bell ringing because of something is a staple of wrestling.
Yeah. Like go ahead.
It's just that
there's so many.
I don't get it.
There's so many beats that they missed.
That's what I'm saying. Like everything was there, but they just kept missing beats for some reason. I don't get it.
It's because they didn't have a ref helping them. Because you're an athlete in the moment doing stuff. Maybe you forget.
But to have a ref helping, you have to have an agent in the back that's telling them how to help. You have to have a writer in the back that's pushing the story along. Like who is that? Who are the agents at AEW? Is it what? Jerry Lynn, Malenko, Arn, Tully?
Dustin.
Whose match was this?
Billy Gunn. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's the main event, and these guys kind of Jericho maybe, but like MJF needed to not do a submission finish, but like he needed to do something like a pile driver. He needed a move that would get a 3 count on top of the cage. Then he have that moment where visually you go, oh, MJF is in control and he won. But he's a bad guy, so he doesn't want that. He picks Jericho up and he goes, I'm not going to beat him. I'm going to kill him, like he keeps saying. Then he teases. He goes, hey, guys, I'm going to throw your dude face first onto the ground. You establish that. Then, because to me, it just felt like he brought him over and the guy said, we quit without any suspense. Then he shows that, and then they make the decision. You have to see them acknowledge it. And then make the decision, this isn't worth it. We care for our guy because we're faces now. Then they quit. Then MJF lets him down and Jericho can like crumble to the mat or to the ground again. And then you need to have some time to clear. So you're like, this is over. We're about to cut to end the show. Then MJF gets a smile on his face, picks Jericho up, and they do the stunt fall from there. Jericho falls. And before he falls off, before like he hits the ground, you cut to black. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, yes. To me, I look at it, and the easiest fix for the whole thing and leaving the story exactly the same is either exactly what you said, where you have more of a hesitation and you play it off, and maybe they're even doing a handshake thing at the end where Jericho's like, all right, you freaking got me. You were willing to sink lower than I was, so you got it, blah, blah, blah. And then he pushes him off.
That would be great.
Or you go the simple route of right after, like literally the second after they ring the bell and his guys, this, that, and the other thing, you throws him off immediately. You don't do a half-second hesitation, make everyone think the match is over and blah, 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 and then kind of kick him off. No. Like it's literally bell rings and everyone's okay, and whoom, right then, throw him off. Or you have him throw him off, and that's when the guys are run over and they're like, no. And that's when the match stops, after the spot.
That would also make sense.
Somehow they managed to do the right thing the exact wrong way just for the emotional connection to the big spot. I don't know.
But you can fix all of that in editing because you have close-ups. You could tease out the moments and do whatever music over it. But yeah, they missed all those, the visual storytelling. Something happens, then you show someone else saw it. Now someone reacts to it. Instead, it was just like a big old schmoz. And then, like you said, just don't create a moment if you're not going to do it right. Don't create the tease of, oh, I'm not going to throw him off.
Look,
if you're not going to do that right.
MLW may have had the biggest moment of the week, but I think that NXT was probably the best wrestling show of the week because it wasn't AEW, Blood and Guts. Sorry, guys. It just wasn't. So let's take a quick break, and I want to tell you why I think this week's NXT was actually the best wrestling program on TV this week.
Oh, my God.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
This is how he feels inside when he does this show. Anyway, and we're back. Did I already do that?
Hey, how about when they did the helicopter shot of DTLA and wrote Boyle Heights?
That was great.
That was
I actually
cool.
liked that. I thought that was actually a good thing. That got me pumped.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, that was the moment where I was like, guess what, man? They're just going for it.
They're going for it.
Better or worse, like, dude, they just, and honestly, I thought it was funny that they were making fun of the Burnett part of Lucha Underground first, because that's a Burnett thing. You see those shots of The Apprentice, you see those shots and all, that's a Burnett thing.
But also MLW does that for their shows.
Yeah.
They do a similar version for their shows.
It's a Burnett thing. Anyway, NXT was the best wrestling show this week and an overall basis of pushing storylines forward, good wrestling that made sense, wrestlers doing big spots and working hard and even taking some damage, but doing it safely and doing it in an entertaining fashion. It wasn't AEW. Like AEW had some high spots. MLW show was great, but it was also short and it had some good matches and then had that big spot. And Raw was dismal. I didn't even pay attention to it.
Just pretend
I didn't watch SmackDown, so maybe SmackDown was better. But
I would just ignore all of those shows. Can I tell you that I did see The Wrong Missy last night with my brother, and Roman Reigns was in it, and he was pretty good.
I think he's going to actually turn out to be a fabulous actor when he hangs it all up and leaves WWE. Anyway, so here's the thing. My overall thoughts, I give this episode probably an A- overall, which is pretty high for NXT recently, but I think I figured out what's going on. Everyone's back. The WrestleMania haze is not there was this WrestleMania cloud over NXT this year where it felt like the resources got pulled away to the other shows or everyone was focused on the big WrestleMania thing and NXT got overlooked. Like they got left with, bad babysitter notes of what to do to feed the dog and the kids. And after that, it was all just Netflix and popcorn.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought that was a different reference.
No.
With pools.
No, it wasn't. Not this time.
You said taking care of the kids.
Yes, not dropping them off.
No, I was thinking. Let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, so I feel like those guys who were doing great stuff with NXT last year, they're all back and focused on NXT again. And like, oh my God, it wasn't that difficult. With one minor exception that I will get to shortly. But
I agree.
Swerve defeats Leon Ruff in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Swerve finally has a stable. They're finally like, even though it's against Leon Ruff.
Yeah, but that was a great match, and he was a great opponent for him.
These guys brought it. They made great opponents for each other. And they off the bell. Oh, it was amazing. Like this was a fun match. It was a great way to kick off the show. It actually paid respect to both of those guys because, the Leon Ruff character shouldn't have been able to stand with Swerve for as long as he has. He's gotten a couple wins over him. He's had some moments, and this was a highly competitive match. And Swerve had to have his homies to win. But also, Swerve finally actually has homies. Like, he's got enough respect to get a stable.
How many times do you see a vignette of Swerve talking about how cool he is in his recording studio, but like none of those people in the studio liked him enough to hang out with him at his day job?
And now it finally matters. And some of their walking around the halls vignettes have actually been good and whatnot. Like, Swerve is a great talent. He's a great talent. I get that WWE doesn't know what to do with him, but the guy has shown throughout his career he's willing to do the work. He may not be the guy that knows what the work is, but if you tell him to go to work, he's gonna go to work. So, like, you're paying all these writers all this goddamn money. Find something for Swerve. I think this is the start of it. I don't know what feud he goes into next after this. I think they have to walk away from the Leon Ruff thing now. Maybe they get another one or two small little things out of it, but I think they need to move on from it now. And if they're, I feel like Dexter's already in his program, or else Dexter Loomis, I think, would actually be a good kind of feud for Swerve. But we'll see where they go with this whole thing. Anyway, Grimes squashes the jobber, but that's not the important part. The important part, and we haven't talked about, and I really want to talk about when Casey's back, is the re-emergence of the $1 Million Man in these Cameron Grimes vignettes. And I want Casey's thoughts on. We'll have to ask him next week. Is it awesome or is it Will's knack?
I gotta say that
I loved it.
They're all great. Cameron Grimes, he's a 10 out of 10 every single time.
I'm a fan. I don't know if he's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I like where they're going. He's over the top.
For what they're having him do, he's filling that role, I think.
He's NXT's Elias right now. It's fine.
I think he's way more than that. But
I just mean value-wise.
Oh.
For the program.
I don't know what that means then, but
they can count on him for those comedic moments in an otherwise serious show, but he can also still go out and wrestle and bump hard if you need him to. And
he does great. Yeah. But he could do a great match. He makes sure.
Also, he's the guy that if you're bringing in an outside guest or an outside talent, like a Ted DiBiase, you can put him in a Cameron Grimes thing and it'll make perfect sense every time. Like he's got the Elias spot.
But he's also worked programs to get the other guy not so much over, but to help them flesh their deal out with, like,
correct.
That dude, Bad Bunny's tag partner. That guy was like a walking cardboard box. And then
Cameron the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest?
Archer, yeah. And Cameron Grimes is like, here's the
Lance Archer of Infamy.
Lance Archer.
The Lance Archer of Infamy, Damian Lance.
Don't compare them. Lance Archer is so much better than Damian Priest ever will be, but he probably won't ever make as much because he didn't do a match with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania.
He'll never be as famous. Lance Archer will be lucky to be as famous as Damian Priest is right now as a rookie on the Raw roster.
Yeah, but Lance Archer is much, much better, by the way. And look at his old Japanese stuff.
Lance Archer could be much, much better, but we'll see if he can do that off the juice. Moving on.
So, my thing about this that I wanted to say 20 minutes ago was that Ted DiBiase, I don't know if he was supposed to, but he totally blew a spot and told everyone that he was doing the Cameron Grimes segments before they aired.
But does that really matter? Like
I mean, for the first one, maybe. All the other ones, okay, it's a recurring thing.
I mean, I popped actually seeing the segment more than like some surprise of Ted DiBiase popping back up. Like you felt it coming as soon as the Dogecoin thing was happening. The doggy coins. Anyway, Grimes, good stuff. Cross. Wow. Oh no, we're not there yet. Let me talk about Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher versus Grizzled Young Veterans. This is good, gritty stuff that's building both teams. And I don't really care that much for the Grizzled Young Veterans. I wanted to see Ciampa and Thatcher get the rub, but ultimately they probably won't be anytime soon. Like in this feud, I imagine that Grizzled Young Veterans is the team that they're going to push. I don't think that they see a huge future or upside bigger than exactly what Thatcher and Ciampa are doing right now. I think that is their upside. I think Ciampa's probably gotten to the peaks that he's going to get to when he had his feud with Gargano and they got to do it out on some of the big stages and some of the big shows. NXT was very big time and very much being treated like one of the WWE family at that point in time.
Isn't it weird to look at Ciampa and Gargano now? Like they used to be like together. Yeah. Like you couldn't imagine one without the other. And now they're just, you couldn't be further apart.
But I love Ciampa with Thatch. I think that is a great combo. I every time those guys come out as a tag team, I'm in it. I'm watching the match. Like I'm watching every minute. And there's a ton of rest holds. There's a ton of walking around. There's a ton of but it's old school combined with strong style, combined with catch can kind of stuff. And they also let the other guys get in their flippy shit, the base for them, and they'll do crazy stuff, you know? Like I like what goes on in their matches. And Grizzled Young Veteran seems to be willing to go in there and duke it out like old school style with these guys, work super stiff. So I'm all about it. I just wish at the end of it that CNT instead of GYT was going to get the push, but I don't think they will. All right. Cross looking like a champion. The vest, bro. This is what I'm talking about. That is some champ shit.
What was it? A month ago, he walked out, just shirt dogging it, whatever it's called, shirt cocking it.
Right.
Just looking all confused, like no one gave him the memo that we're wearing cool clothes to the ring. And versus tonight.
Bro, dress for the job that you want, and the job that you want is like Ric Flair. You want The Rock's job. You don't want to be the NXT champion. You want to be the champion of the universe. Dress for that job. And I think Cross did exactly that, shoes and all. You know, some guys will do that whole thing, but then still put on some shiny boots. No, man. Cross came out in I don't even know. I don't want to know.
But he also,
he paid for him, though. I can tell you that much.
Looking back though, it's like, it's like he couldn't wear a suit jacket because he was going to throw down.
Right.
So,
but he didn't even pop a button on the vest, bro.
That's a tailored vest.
Down.
But like that's probably his fighting vest,
dude. So Kyle O'Reilly comes out.
I love Sleazy Kyle, by the way. It's working for me now.
It works for me too. Pete Dunne's character is actually working for me just fine right now too. I still like Pete Dunne. I'm not expecting him to go to the moon or anything, but I like exactly how they're using him. I think he's in the exact right spot. I have no issue with Pete Dunne at all. I like him coming out here. I think a little bit from him and Cross will actually be really fun because Pete's this just scrappy dude who's just not going to back down, and he's going to bump hard for Cross too, and he's going to give it back. Like I hope that Cross doesn't hold back too much on him because I think Pete can take it, and I think it'll be a chance for Cross to throw down a little more of his Muay Thai kind of style and actually have it look a little more convincing. Anyway, I like that. And then you get your return of Balor, and the great thing about it is this didn't turn into a segment for Balor to get his heat back on Cross. Balor took it, and Cross wipes out all three of those guys pretty much, and the security guard.
They bounced off him. We got to go into this a little bit more.
Go for it.
They all bounce off of him. He grabs them by the neck while he is kneeling on the ground. He just goes, boom. This guy is a monster in a ring full of little boys. That's the name of this segment. Right? They go up and they forearm him and bounce across the ring.
Yes.
You know, it's like he could choke slam them while standing on his knees. Like this. And he didn't pop a button, like you said. And also, it looked great. Also, like at the first segment when Gargano went into the Regal's office, by the way, I thought we should bring this up. And then the lackey dude did the fake boob joke with Scarlett. That made me feel so like 1999 Raw, like, and it was just like in the worst way. Like you don't have to.
Does Scarlett have a boob job?
I don't know, but it's a dumb.
And that's the funny thing. Like 15 years ago in wrestling, I'd have known the answer to that question. We all would have.
Yeah, because you had to.
Right, and it was kind of made a point. Plus, she probably would have been in 4 or 5 Braun panties matches by now.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I
never once even thought about it. And and she's in all sorts of scantily clad photos on Cross's IG and whatnot. And you know what? Never even crossed my mind.
So why'd you bring it up?
I'm just saying the boobs. Like, yeah, she's an attractive lady or whatever, but I've never once thought about that.
Yeah. So I mean,
because wrestling's just in a different place now. So why go back there?
It was so hacked. It was so out of place. That's like probably Michael Hayes is walking backstage when they're writing the script, and he's like, let me help you out. You know, it'd be a great moment for this part. And he's like, and he told the writer, and the writer's like, yeah, that'd be good. And then Michael P.S. Hayes just stayed there in a room and watched the writer and was like, are you going to write it down though? Are you going to write it into the script? Yeah, I'm going to write it in. And he just stood there.
And I just don't even get it. It's like, you know, I think about some of these talents and I'm just like, God bless them that they don't have to deal with some of that shit. And I hope that that doesn't start happening. Like Shotzi. Shotzi's super attractive, super cute, whatever. I never need to see her in a Jello match. No. I never need to see her and Terry Runnels rolling around in mud or bra and panties or whatever. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was a big fan of Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus and all that stuff. But like, it doesn't need to come back. Don't need it.
No, I mean, it's
not necessary. There are plenty of beautiful women in wrestling, and we don't have to stoop to that next level below that of the objectification in that fashion.
I mean, let's just be honest. Like with all careers, there's a bottom and a top, and you try and work your way up, and you get better working conditions. You try and earn better working conditions and better pay when you get to the top. No wrestler likes to do customs.
So you're saying that you're trying to power bottom your way out?
Well, we're not talking about my career, which
I did that for.
I don't even know. Oh, this or Casey says power bottom and saves the segment,
right?
but no wrestler really likes to do customs or those junior high juvenile spots or just all these things that'll get.
There's a few that like.
Okay, maybe some do.
Never say everybody, but most of them.
But they make money, and sometimes that's all you can book, you know, and you work until you don't have to book those types of things. So it's just, let's not. You're on a big show. You're on the Peacock network, for Christ's sakes. Let's not devolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some integrity in our NXT shows.
Speaking of integrity, here's another thing let's not do. Let's not have Cross clean house on the Lollipop Guild and then have the remaining members of the Lollipop Guild come out and leave him laying. Especially when Johnny Gargano hasn't finished his last 5 fucking feuds. Does Johnny Gargano finish a feud anymore?
All right. I was hoping we could just ignore this part where he beat up a ring full of people who are smaller than him, and then someone even smaller comes in and takes him out.
No, and this is I don't like. I'm glad Meatloaf isn't here because it would be a lot of British thickened expletives. Listen, I get it, and this is probably Cross's own fault. I believe that he probably wants to wrestle Austin Theory. They spent some time in Mav Pro together. Austin was there. Austin looked like $1 million back then too. By the way, you know, you say what you want to about whatever his level of his intelligence is in his personal life these days and his business decisions and things that he's done in the past couple of years. He is certainly paying a price for some of that, having gone up to the big time and now being kind of a lackey to someone else on NXT again. But regardless of that, he always looked like he was a WWE superstar. I know that Cross always thought that in ring the kid was good, so I think he's going to give him a shot because I don't know that a lot of other people are super excited about working with Austin Theory. So this may even be Cross's doing of like, oh hey, if you need to feed somebody to me for but put some story behind it, I'll take Austin, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the getting heat into the feud like this, that was the worst moment of this NXT to me. It was just like. And it's not because I'm a Cross fan or whatever. It's just like it was the whole like, really, we just saw this guy take out your last champ, the last 2 of the last 3 contenders to be champ.
Yeah.
Like, which literally means that all the top guys already came in and had a little scrum there. And then now 2 not top guys, the guy with the number 2 belt is going to come in and get over on him. That's in a clearly not the same weight class. Come on.
I mean, I feel like having Gargano wearing the North American belt during that helped him a little bit. It helped give him some legitimacy. However, I just
hope they don't go to a full feud with Gargano. I don't want to see Cross and Gargano yet. He's not like this.
He's too small, and he's been in a great spot doing great work, getting I don't know, 6 other people over, for the last year since I can remember. But that doesn't make him a credible. Not so much, for the belt that he has, but it doesn't make him credible against a guy who's twice his size.
Yeah. Well, look, clearly the Garganos had some sway in the back on this particular episode. Look, while we're talking about Cross, I hear that Casey has something to say about Cross. So let's see what Casey's got going on here.
Oh, no.
Hey, yo, this is the professor here. What's up, motherfuckers? Here with the figure review. First of all, I'm going to show you Karrion Kross here. Look, he comes with a vinyl jacket. The jacket sucks. It's a little too small. It's a little too short. Take the jacket off if you're going to display him. He also comes with grabby hands. I don't need him grabbing shit on my shelf. He's already knocking all the other figures off. This thing's got a mind of its own. I want to show you some highlights, though. So, check this out. The tattoo work on this figure is amazing. Amazing. They did some great work. This is probably some of the best of the Mattel-style tattoo work. No, it's not as good as the Legends of Lucha Libre stuff, but we'll take what we could get from Good Brother Cross's first figure here. Great facial likeness, looks just like him. Awesome figure. I give it 5 stars, more or less. The accessories, not so much, but hey, we're not here for the accessories. We're here to Doomsday Saito shit off of our shelves. So once again, Mr. Cross, I hope you're watching. We love you, buddy. Great figure. Next. Let me tell you what hard times is, daddy. We've got the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes in his one-time Survivor Series attire. Okay, first of all, I want to highlight how hideous the face is on this figure. Dusty, not a pretty man. He's a beautiful man, but not a pretty man. So, yeah, this is a pretty ugly figure, but I love it because of it. Comes with this sick hat with the chicken claw. He comes with a poncho. You can take that poncho off, and you can look at the blouses on my belly welly, if you will. And he's got the bionic elbow, looking great. I like how they gave him the painted pad with like the real pad over it. Dusty's looking good, man. Well, looking as good as you can with this face. You know what I'm saying, brother? So anyway, these are some great figures. You got Cross. You got the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Hopefully by next week, I'll have Vader to show to you guys. But just wanted to get these to you, baby.
Thanks, Casey. That was really interesting stuff. Though Byron didn't show it to me, so I have no clue what you just said. I'm sure it was highly compelling material and content for an audio version of the show. You know, it probably wasn't.
What's great is Justin is complimenting you, and he doesn't know any of the stuff you said about him. Which, by the way, some of it is very unacceptable nowadays. But I guess since,
Did he Hogan me like we were in Tampa together on the stage?
Well, you guys are friends, so I just assumed that what he was calling you was something you guys have agreed upon.
I'm not his brother. Anyway, a couple more quick things with NXT. Saray defeats Zeta Ramira.
How great is Saray? How great are those drop kicks to the face?
Here's my problem. I need for WWE and AEW to stop presenting all the Japanese women like they're just the next Asuka. Please. They're not. Give them their own characters, personalities, and storylines. Please. I don't know. The Saray thing feels too familiar to me at this point.
It's the same way that they present all the Japanese female wrestlers, and it does seem like they're kind of going to the well a lot with that. But great, I love Joshi wrestling. I love all Japanese wrestling.
But also, let's not keep funneling them through one at a time. Maybe let's have a few of them be there at the same time. Then you can see the differences. Let them fight each other a little bit and put them across the ring or tag them up or something.
Well, that's the thing. Their identities. You don't bring in that one female Pete Dunne and have her be an what's her ethnicity? Scottish, Irish,
something Scotch Irish.
You don't have her come in and be like, I'm a Scottish independent wrestler, and that's my personality. And that's what all the Japanese wrestlers are doing.
That's what they just.
It's good to point out that Asuka was super cool for a while as like a female Great Muta gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
she's just a dancing clown now, and it's a shame. However, more power to her. Like other wrestlers
She's getting paid.
Who've had a full career. You come to WWE,
and I don't begrudge her that. But then these other girls who are coming up, like Asuka, got there by doing the work.
Yeah,
and they put her in a good position to do the work. Like, can we do that for these other ladies, please?
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a terrible job on AEW with Sheeta to me, but they did good with the tournament. I liked that.
I think recently the second half
of her run, they started off good.
Beforehand, it was almost like, when is she even going to be on TV?
Right. I don't know. So we'll see. Anyway, this Saray versus Zeta Ramir thing, it went down the way it was supposed to. Ramir got this weird win over Tony Storm last week. I don't know if anybody cares. Zoe Stark is involved. There's some kind of dust up in the back afterwards. It felt like the most disposable part of the show. This next part didn't feel disposable, but also didn't feel like it fit. LA Knight versus Jake Atlas.
That's a weird matchup.
Oh, I love this matchup. I honestly thought it was a great matchup. I thought their styles fit together well.
I mean, booking wise, I'm sure they've worked 1,000 times together. They're both really great match, but it's just weird for me to see them match up booking wise.
But you know why I think it's weird for you to see them match up booking wise? Because LA Knight doesn't belong on NXT. He's Raw all day long. This guy should be on Raw. He's in the wrong place. I don't know what they're going to do with him here on NXT. He's got the right look. He's got the right mic skills. He's got the right in-ring style to be, in a feud with Baron Corbin or The Miz or Morrison or somebody. Like, these aren't his people. This is not his tribe. His tribe is on Raw. That's all I can say about it. Like, I liked everything he did. I liked everything that Jake did. I'm a big fan of both guys.
Yeah.
This match didn't belong on the show. This was a great match this was a great match for a different wrestling show. That's the only way I can put it. Like, it was a B- for NXT. It'd have been a B+ to an A- somewhere else. Anyway,
how come LA Knight isn't beating Gargano for the NA belt?
He should in the next 4 months, but not immediately. He hasn't been there long enough yet.
What do you think about Taya's segments? How she's doing her presence? I think her promos
great.
Yeah,
I think that I think they're playing the long game with her. It's smart. They're going to work her into the mix slowly. They need people to be impressed when she goes to the ring. I think also they are WWE-izing her at the PC in the meantime, but at the same time, you don't keep a presence like that off of TV.
Right.
You put her on TV, you work her into your style, whoever she's going to be feuding with, you have her working out with them a little bit, basically fake house showing it because they don't have any house shows right now, which is what would normally be happening. Is like she would be out and actually working at house shows and then coming and being on TV, but not wrestling. That's exactly what you would do with Taya in a normal year right now. And it's not going to be long either. Don't think that this is some long process. They've done this with a couple of people, though. And when they do, it's smart and it works. They did the same thing with Cross. Cross was doing his TikTok, I'm coming crap or showing up or just throwing beatdowns on people. But the whole time he was working the hell out of his game over at the PC and they were getting his t-shirts together and all this other stuff. That's exactly what they're doing with Taya. Don't think that they're sleeping on her by any stretch of the imagination. And the fact that she's been in as many vignettes as she has is paying great deference to her as a talent for them. And I like the side eyes that she's getting from everyone. And she's just like kind of on her own plane. You don't know if she's heel or face yet. I love it. That's exactly what they should be doing. We're getting Santos versus Kushida next week. We're getting Cross versus Austin Theory next week. I believe we're getting the women's titles match next week too. It's going to be a big week next week. But this week's big thing, the way Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeat Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in a brutal street fight. It's not Britt Baker Thunder Rosa, which I thought was a little bit better, but this was damn good. This was damn good all around. And the good news is Candice has finally won gold, and the bad news is Indy Hartwell has finally won gold.
I mean, it's a tag title, so I don't know. I think it's great. I mean,
The Way has literally 50% of the gold in NXT.
Yeah.
is on the way, minus Austin Theory, who is goldless.
Which is, I mean, yeah, Gargano really is working overtime to get all of them over. So Austin Theory's getting a match with the top guy, and then his wife finally gets a belt. She deserved some sort of run with a belt a long time ago, but you know, this program has actually done a great job with getting her over as a consistent character on the show.
If you could have any tag partner for Candice LeRae, who would it be?
Ooh, I mean, just Ember Moon or Shotzi right off the top of my head. I think both of them could fit.
Shotzi would have been a good choice in that same role as Indy. It would have been a different Shotzi than what you have now, but
yeah. If you're going to pick someone who's more of an up and comer, but I think she's worked with everyone for decades already. I mean, you could even put her with her new gimmick, with her new sort of look, even with like Io. Yeah.
Well, what if one of the Iconics was her tag partner? Can't believe they got rid of those girls. So stupid.
Oh God, so dumb. So dumb. They're
the worst.
I mean, they're going to end up somewhere and hopefully doing great. They're going to have a podcast, but they're built for the WWE machine.
I hope they don't end up anywhere and like they find other success in life because they just don't need it anymore. Like those girls don't need to bump. They're entertainers. They're great. They were awesome.
I think they want to. I think they want to at least get a decent run of wrestling.
Go to AEW? Where are they going to go? Japan?
Maybe AEW because her husband's there, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy for any wrestler to make a living not falling on their neck, but I also feel like those two, they wanted to wrestle, and maybe don't do it forever, but like give them the opportunity to have a couple good matches they're proud of, so it's not left on the table.
I agree. We'll see what happens with them. Anyway, this match was great. That's not even spots to call out. Like you just got to watch this match. Even Indy did pretty good. I'm not knocking her at all. And I actually like Indy Hartwell. I think she's still just very green. No, it was a great match. It was a great match. It was a true headliner. And in fact, that it delivered it. You weren't expecting the finish. Like I honestly didn't expect Candice and Indy to win. I really didn't in this particular moment.
How would you?
And they did, and it was great. I think
would you expect Candice to win a belt in NXT? That's
but it's
not
also
what they taught us.
Also makes you care about Ember and Shotzi more, which I think is the desired effect as well. I think they're sitting with this gold, but nobody was really caring about them very much, and I think that it gives some luster to the belts and these very very newest belts in wrestling that we have, and it's good stuff. NXT wins the week, in my opinion. I don't know what the ratings look like. I'm sure Blood and Guts did a big number.
Blood and Guts, they were number one in cable for the first time ever. They did huge, like over 1 point whatever million. Good for them.
And that's going to go to their head. I mean, look at the response. You got people who were there live complaining. You got, I don't know. And the AEW marks are just all over the top because like all the right things were there, but they weren't done the right way. Something was still off about it.
I mean,
AEW marks can celebrate it all day long. And I love Tony and I love a lot of what they're doing. I think all the ideas are there, but I'm going to say this again, and I've said it a million times. AEW needs a real head writer. They need a Brian Gerwitz. They need somebody, Krista Joseph or somebody. They need one of those guys that can come in there and look at the whole bigger picture, not just the bigger picture for an angle or the bigger picture for a headliner or a week. Like, let's get some foresight and some planning.
Yeah. Well, Jericho in a recent interview said they have started having more meetings because of this problem. I'm not saying Jericho listens to the show and gets most of his ideas, since he's already stolen every idea that was good about rock and roll and put it in his gimmick. But they are doing more committee meetings during the day, or production meetings, where all the groups will bring their stuff in, because he made the point where like Cody's going to agent his own stuff, produce his own stuff, and he's concerned about making his own stuff as good as it can be. But he's not going to be concerned about a different segment finishing with like a figure four table bump or whatever it is, on top of it. And then so they all get together, and then they but you still need
And Tony's the head dude, but
I know, but here's the thing. Like, look, at the heyday of Raw, the buck stopped before the buck stopped. Like the buck stopped at Vince, but it stopped at Gerwitz before him.
Yeah.
You know, like you need a stopgap in there where Tony is not having to cull through the whole thing and can look at the big picture. And then he can go back in like Vince and nitpick the stuff that he wants to nitpick. What he can't do is he can't be the guy to cull it all together. It's not him. He's not that guy. He's not a writer. He's not really a TV producer in that fact. He's a sports owner. He's a money mark. He's a money mark that cares.
Yes.
He's invested. He does understand wrestling. He knows what he likes. But what he needs is an opportunity in a more stable environment where he can just be infusing what he does that's good instead of being in charge of the entire overall quality control. He needs something that's already been funneled down to hit his desk. And then he can be the top guy, but he needs a stopgap in there. And I just don't see, or if that person is there already, I don't know who that is. And they haven't made it public who that is. Not that WWE does, but eventually enough people get fired from the writers' room that they talk about what was happening in the writers' room. Yeah. So you find out after the fact. Maybe a year and a half from now, we'll figure out this AEW mystery of why it's like this.
But like WWE, you have Vince, right? But then you also, like Kevin Dunn runs the whole show too.
Yeah.
He probably makes, more money than anyone not named Vince or Khan in WWE. The guy that they hired, this other Nick Khan, whoever that WWE hired, is going to be making big changes. They're talking about he makes a ton, but like he's a guy who, like you said, it might be. More
he's the guy that's supposed to come in and address the USA notes, right, of the edgier show that they want.
No, Nick Khan, I believe, if I'm not butchering his first name, is like restructuring the whole format of the company. And
right. And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It doesn't even matter who these guys are. We don't really care who they are. We just care that there actually is somebody that does that job. Yeah. And WWE might be too bloated to the fact that they might have too many of those guys now. They're not mom and pop enough a lot of times. And I think that's part of why Vince still feels like he knows best, because he's trying to be that quality control thing. But dog, you're like 90. Like, you are past it, whether you need the version, the 30-year younger version of yourself.
And it's interesting that Jericho talks about this, so by the way, and a lot of other people have said lots of great things about Tony Khan. I met him, Christian Cage said something, how he met him 7 years ago, and like he had a mind for the business like no I've ever heard. He knew stuff about my career I didn't know. Everyone says all this great stuff about him. And Tony Khan is the head writer of AEW, right? And it's interesting. You put it in perspective, like Jericho brings up something, like brings this up because he can, but you're not going to see Butcher and the Blade talk about how the same segment was done 3 times on the same show.
I think it's also hard too, because you need that top level creative person, and this is where you run into issues with a lot of promotions. They have to understand the agenting of the match too. They have to understand the way that the storylines are going to work with the physical bodies. Like, could I be the top guy at a wrestling? But no, I could probably get the story right, but like watching Blood and Guts, it took me a while to figure out that like it was the timing and the agenting of that last bit on top of the cage that blew the storyline. The winning and then throwing Jericho off is not the problem. It's the timing of how you do it and what you're presenting and how you show it and the agenting of what physically is happening and then the camera directing, like all of those other elements, to really be a great wrestling mind. If everyone thinks that Tony is that guy, he's got to be able to put all of those things together, not just craft a cool story that, hip, smart fans are going to get and like, but also to get the timing of the match down right. To have a match, a series of matches that lead to the right spot the right way, which is something that WWE has a lot of trouble with because they have too much damn time to fill. But they have to figure out the overall storytelling at AEW because it's a hot mess still. They got all the right people, all the right ideas, and just can't put them all together yet.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
also
Byron.
gotta watch this show and take my specific notes and edit them, just movie magic, edit them into the final moments of the blood and guts match.
Hey, you never know. Maybe
And then they would have gotten 2 million viewers.
Maybe they'll retcon it in the replay next week. Hey, Byron, guess what?
I refuse to participate.
Byron, guess what?
What?
Stay calm and stay in the mix. Say penis.